What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Let's see who's in the chat. Sorry, we were live like 2 minutes ago, and I had everything on private. So I don't know. Let me bring the guys in. What's up? Who's here? What's up, Denise? Beardbox, what's up? Soda City, what's happening? There's Waldo. Say hi, Waldo.
Hi, Waldo.
You guys missed it, so I'm gonna play this again. This is Juan's about to enter the room, so we gotta play his entrance music.
Suavemente, bésame, que quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez.
There he is.
Yeah. That was actually me singing. If you guys didn't know that, Suavemente.
There you go. I don't know what the guy is saying, but it gets the people going all the time.
Hey, how do I get to the comments?
Huh?
You gotta hit the word comment.
Yeah, there's a button that says comments. So when you hit the comment,
can't type in there. You gotta type on the other screen. At least we do.
Yeah, I see the comments, but the one where I can actually type.
Oh, it should be on the bottom, right?
No, it's never on the bottom. You gotta type in have another screen open and type in there.
Okay.
See, I don't know what you guys are saying.
Okay, hang on. Let me do a thing. I said in the private section. Let me see if this goes to the public.
Well, in the private, you can. I
just said hi.
Private. Yeah, but in the private, it's only for us.
Yeah, and it doesn't go public.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to open another. The only thing is that the one that I'm using right now is where my camera is. If I open another one, it's on this side, so it's gonna look like I'm looking in the opposite way.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
All right,
He's
so
gonna look like that guy from Friday, the big cross-eyed guy.
Like that.
What's up, Denise, Beardbox, Evan Customs, Soda City Works. I haven't seen Soda City.
Soda City, what's up?
Jimmy. Let's see, William, Falacasini.
Yeah, Kenny Vargas. Right. Kenny Vargas is on here too.
Where's Kenny?
What's up, Kenny? Kenny Vargas says date
Fire.
Out.
Jose Lopez.
Wait.
Works.
I'll let you guys take all them complicated names.
Look at that. Look. Soda City, give me $3.50.
Thank you. $1 for each of us.
So the topic is screen printing, guys. So if you guys have any questions, I actually put up I posted it on YouTube asking if you guys have any questions, and no one put any questions. So it's kind of funny. I don't know. Everybody has questions, but like I posted it on YouTube asking if you guys have any questions, and no one put any questions. Whoa, what was that? It was kind of funny. I don't know. Everybody has questions, but like there's a rewind button.
Yeah, you're getting loop back on your stuff now.
Who's that?
Sorry, that was me. Sorry, that was me.
Oh, see?
I was trying to get the comments to work, and
always the Mexican. I swear.
I'm not Mexican. Yeah. I was just dropped in the wrong country.
All right, since we don't have any questions, there was a question at Juan, your live yesterday. It was from I took a snapshot of it. Let me see if I can get it back.
You took a lot of snapshots. I remember them photos. So.
You talking about the Waldo photo? Oh man, I couldn't stop laughing making that picture. This one. Oh my gosh, I was dying.
That was a good picture.
All right, so the
question,
question,
you guys food, and that's what I get.
Okay, well, we have a question on the chat right now from William. Who says, "I have a reclaim question for Juan." So, what's the question? I don't know. Did I miss the question already? I don't know. Hey, William, what is the question?
Okay, I'm gonna bring my comments up real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna get a feedback. Let me bring it up because I cannot see the comments.
Okay,
he doesn't have any question yet. He just typed that.
Oh, but I can't see the comments.
Okay.
He doesn't have any.
There you go. Cool.
So I mean, William, what is the question for Juan? The reclaimed question. He hasn't really typed it. What's up, Eddie? What's going on, Eddie? Nova said he'll be going to Waco tomorrow.
Who's that, Nova?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be in Austin tomorrow. I'm picking up my press, and I'm doing a video with River City Graphics tomorrow.
You're getting another press?
Yeah, heat press.
Oh, that heat press. Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten it yet?
No, they didn't have the one I wanted, so they had to order it from Geonite. So it came in today. It came in today, but I'm picking it up tomorrow, and doing the video with River City Graphics.
Okay. Noah said he'll be in Austin, then he's going to San Antonio. There's too many cities in Texas. What's going on?
I'm sorry? Too many cities?
Too many cities in Texas.
Yeah. So what was the question,
Okay.
William?
Yeah, well, William, if you can type in that question. But the question from your live, while we wait for that.
His question's up there.
There it is. There's the question. Do you see it, Juan?
Yes, I do. I thought you were going to bring it up on the screen.
There it is.
He says, do you still use the pink stuff and hand cleaner as a degreaser and dehazer, or, and then he just bring it up on the screen, right? Dehazer, and what do you say? Have you found an easier way, like spraying on, what is the type? No, I honestly, that's the one that I used, the one that has worked the best, using the pink stuff and hand sanitizer. There's people that say don't use hand sanitizer because it's got some other stuff in there that can mess up your screens. But I've been doing it for years, and that's the best combination that I found so far. There's other chemicals, like for example, if we go to Easy Way, you can use Supra and 701. You can use those chemicals. They're really good. They do just about the same thing, but man, they're expensive and they smell really bad. So
you talking about the Supra? Yeah.
Yeah, the Supra. It works really good. So I mean, if you guys can afford the Supra and the 701, what is the 701? What is the name of it? I can't remember the name of it.
It's easy. It's by Easy something.
It's by
Easy Way, is it?
Yeah.
The company's called Easy Way, but
Easy Way.
But 701 has its name. Like Supra is it's got a number too. But if you use both of those,
it's called Easy Solve.
Easy Solve. So if you use both of those chemicals, like for example, Supra will take out Easy Solve. There you go. So if you use 701 and Supra together, one of them takes out the ink, the other one takes out the ink and the emulsion. So the Supra is like 2-in-1. But the pink stuff and the hand sanitizer is done miracles for me. So that's what I'm still using it. That's the reason why I still use it.
I want to get this right. You said hand sanitizer?
Yes, hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I guess because of the abrasiveness inside the hand sanitizer, it scrubs the and I can I have like 3 videos on it.
I've never used hand sanitizer.
No, try it.
That's why you got germs. You're supposed to hand sanitizer after eating.
Look,
there's none on that table, and he's putting food in his mouth. And he's touching people's masks.
But
yeah, I've only used the spray. I've tried the I like the pink stuff, but to me it was a little messier than just spraying. So, and there are times that I forgot to close the lid on the pink stuff.
Yeah, and it'll dry up.
It'll dry out. So that's why I went for the spray. That's what.
Yeah. So yes, William, it's a hand cleaner. Did I say hand sanitizer? No, hand cleaner.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, hand sanitizer, like the.
I'm sorry, hand cleaner. Yeah, not hand sanitizer, hand cleaner.
I know.
I'm sorry, guys.
He's got alcohol over in there.
It's because I keep seeing Ry eating and he doesn't bring us anything. So I'm like, what the heck? So no, a hand cleaner and the pink stuff, that stuff works really good. It cleans your screens and leaves them almost like new. Cleans them real good.
Hey, Eddie had a question a minute ago. Eddie Jr.
Here it is. It says, Waldo, mentioned in a previous YouTube video sometime that certain sublimation paper is better for certain materials and result is better clarity. For example, some paper are good for hard substrates.
Yeah, like on that, Epson, for instance, they've got 3 major papers to use. They've got an adhesive textile paper. So what that does, it's got like a glue on it. So instead of you putting tack on the paper to tack it down, they make one that's pretty much made for fabric. And by having that, you don't have to spray tack it. So you'll print it, press it, and then when you lift up, it's not going to lift, the paper's not going to lift up. It's not going to ghost. It's going to stick to there, so you don't have to worry about taping it and worrying about ghosting. And then they've got a high definition paper, which works really, really good on metal. And then they've got a multi-purpose that works on everything. Like if you use the high definition on a shirt, you're not going to get all the quality because it holds ink differently than it's made for hard objects. And then they got the multi-purpose that pretty much will work on anything. So it depends on what you want to buy. You can buy all 3. You can buy 1. I've got all 3. Juan normally uses 1. You can get away with 1. But
how much does 1 cost? You said 1?
Yeah.
You can buy 1?
Juan charges this much so much an hour to put a sticker in.
I'm very expensive. On top of that, I'm imported. So
So here's a question.
Deported, imported, mixed up.
Same thing.
What you say ghosting. How do you get ghosting on sublimation? Or is it moving? It moves?
So on sublimation, let me take this one, Waldo, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Sublimation. So say for example this right here. Oh, I'm not supposed to show that. So sublimation. When you I guess I can show you this. This is no, I don't want to show that.
Oh wait, no, I gotta play your song. Okay, there you go.
So sublimation, like for example, if you're sublimating on a t-shirt, right? When you go to sublimate a hard surface like this right here, well, Waldo was talking about the different papers. He said about high definition. Well, what that does is it dumps a lot of ink on that paper, right? So if you're printing on hard surfaces, you want to add extra ink, so it comes out looking like that, nice and shiny. On a shirt, you don't want to do that because it's too much ink. So the ink, when you heat up the ink, it'll turn into vapor. Ghosting happens when you lift up your press. If you have a clamp press that goes like that, right? It'll lift up and the paper will shift just ever so slightly. And because the ink is still vapor, it'll create like an outline, or it'll actually print on the other side where the paper landed. That's what it's called. That's what we call ghosting on sublimation.
Okay.
And Lily asked a while ago. She asked a question, and the answer is yes, Lily. He's eating spam covered in.
No. Ooh, that sounds good. No, this is chocolate covered.
It's spam covered chocolate, or chocolate covered spam.
It's like rolled up, like Hershey. Here's the Hershey bar, and you roll it up and spam over it. Oh man! Oh, here's a question right here. Blue Fire, what do you guys think about the eco frames? The mesh snap screens. So this is a good question because I was looking at those. I don't really know what the benefit for those things. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. One of the benefits for that is, like, say for example, a small shop like myself, or like most of us, we don't benefit by those screens. Right. And the bad thing about those screens is they're actually geared to shops like us. The thing about those screens, it's the benefit is if you're doing a lot of CMYK or process printing, you can have your tension done correctly. And when you do CMYK, you want all your screens to have the same tension, so it doesn't move on you. So you don't want to have one screen that is kind of loose, and that's why you lose. You don't lose registration, but the screen. The other day we were talking about, I think it was Waldo, he was explaining about pushing versus pulling. When you push, you actually distort the screen. Right. If you're doing CMYK and if you push, you'll distort the screen. And if the screen is loose, you'll mess the print up. Now, if you have those eco-friendly frames, then you can tension it a little more and prevent that. another screen like that will be the Newman Rollers.
Yeah, the
Newman.
Newman, the easy. Sherlock makes them also.
Yeah,
so I've
sure.
got Sherlock and Rollers, and
Mhm.
they're good. They've got goods and bads. I mean, downside they're not cheap,
Mhm.
and you like the Sherlock, you can buy the strips to replace it yourself and just use mesh. But the time it takes to do that, it's not really worth it. Like if you got a lot of free time on your hand, someone like Stan, where you can do a lot of other stuff and not really print, then you can use them. They work fine. If you're actually out, if you're out there working nonstop in a screen, it's kind of like where most shops don't remesh their own screens. Can you do it? Yeah, it's cheaper to do it, but is it worth your time to remesh your screen or just go buy a new one? Depending on how big you are and what you want to pay people to do, it's one of them things. I mean, I have them. I don't use them anymore. The tension's nice. You can get really crisp image with them, but because like I mean, you can tension them again after they've already stretched. So that's the nice thing about them. But the downside is how many people are doing like high definition separations. Most people are doing like ballpark 1-2 color prints.
Yeah.
On a half tone, like Goonlike did on that one where he was using like a 110. You can get away with things and still get it to come out okay. You don't need to do like if you do like a 220, like some people, you try to push that manual white, your arms are going to be dead if you're not using an auto. So I mean, there's no like there's purposes for it. I wouldn't suggest someone getting them unless you got a killer deal on them.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then just so you know, the screens themselves, if you're gonna buy the screens that go with those frames, they're not cheaper than buying an actual aluminum screen. You can pay just about the same.
Yeah.
So,
And then the other thing too, there's a lot more weight to them. So depending on your press, you're gonna have to reattention them springs, which I mean it isn't bad, but like someone on here had that issue. Or a perfect example, Antonio, when he was in that shop that he went to, where they had the bungee cords and all that holding the stuff up.
Yeah.
Just because the weight of the woods were pulling them down, that's what will happen with them if your screens your press isn't really good or the springs are weak. They got a lot more mass to them. So I mean,
right.
If you want that crisp thing, go ahead and do that. But if you're gonna do that,
I mean, for something like that, if you know you're gonna have a very crisp design that you need like, like a something really sharp halftone. I mean, you might as well just buy new ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can buy new ones and then put them on the shelf or use them later because
because it's cost effective. It's I mean, if you have the money and time to do the roller frames or the eco frames, then
the only nice thing about them, like, and I still have boxes of them. I have boxes of them screens sitting on the shelf, all the different ones. So, like, if you're a shop, let's say you're running on the weekend where you couldn't get supplies, literally, I've got them on the shelf, so I can have a new screen right away. But other than, I mean, that's money sitting on a shelf that's wasted too, because them things are $10-15 for each inlay one, depending what size you do. So, I mean, and you got to have more than one. So I've got boxes of 4 or 5. So it's a lot of wasted money.
You're dumb, Greg. You're my French, but that's dumb.
I mean, I guess if you have, I think if you have a shop, to me, if you have a shop that's, you have employed like 10 people and you go through screens every day, then it might be worth it. But I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I would like you to buy them. I mean, but
yeah.
I mean, actually, to me, I think it makes more sense if you're gonna go that route. I think it makes more sense just to buy a stretcher. Buy a stretcher and stretch your own screens.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes more sense because the screen or the mesh is a lot cheaper than buying those. I tell you, because I got some roller frames and I just stopped buying the skins for it because I was paying $26 for the skins. So I was like, no. They're just sitting in the back.
How big of the skins do you get when you buy them?
It's 23 by 31.
Oh, you can't get them longer than that?
No, they're
you can
like
get
they're
them.
like you could buy normal material and use it.
Yeah.
Like but them are like on the Sherlocks and all that. They make the bands and the straps for them. Mm-hmm. If you buy the pre-made ones, they're made for whatever size screen you're running. So they make the small screens and they make the big ones, like the auto sizes. And so they're pre-made. So the downside too, if you get a small screen and you were running big screens on your other press, you can't use them screens on them. They're pretty much junk. They're going to sit there. and then vice versa. I mean, you can't stretch something more than it's already stretched. I mean, look at the clothes. I can't stretch them a medium to an extra large or 2X. So
Right. Now, Denise has a question here.
Yeah, that's a good question too.
That's a great question. What chemicals are safe or easy on the drain? The first thing to come to my mind is like CCI and Franmar. So I'm not sure if there's anything else out there, but usually it'll say environmentally safe. Like I think the CCI the Enviro line, those are pretty good.
yeah, Ryonet's got an Enviro line also.
But there's a CCI.
Yeah, they just rebrand it, but some of these people.
So the answer to that question, Denise, none. There's no chemicals that are safe. There are chemicals that are safer, like Rai said. If you want to get into the safest or safer chemicals, I will say Fremar is probably the one that are the best that I have used. I like CCI. I used a lot of their CCI stuff a lot. But Fremar, and man, they take the cake. They're really
you just pay for the price for using it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing is
they cost a little more, but I mean, yeah, that's as far as being. I mean, nothing's safe. It's just more what's.
I mean, gasoline right now is less than $3 a gallon. So I mean, you can clean it with gas. So.
Yeah. Well, chemical is chemical. It's just more. I can't even find a word to it, but more safer, I guess. I don't know.
But I mean, the other thing too, people put petroleum jelly like Vaseline. That's made from oils. That comes from the oil. So I mean, that's a gasoline byproduct. So I mean, some people do worry about chemicals, thinking it's worse, and they're not really as bad. I mean, they're all bad for you one way or another, but
right. So here's a question from Pam. What are some other things that we would not think of that are helpful in the shop? For example, someone told me to keep baby wipes on hand to clean my hands and spills. Baby wipes? I never thought about baby wipes.
I use baby wipes all the time.
Baby wipes, talking about chemicals being safe, baby wipes, I don't know what the heck is in it. They'll clean everything and anything. So if you ever get ink on your hands, I usually keep baby wipes and right next to my washout booth and by my press. Because when I get ink on my hands, take baby wipe, and that stuff takes it off. Another thing that I think, in my opinion, I think it's a very good trick that I do. I use emulsion instead of tape. I don't tape my screens anymore. That's an extra expense, and I don't like to spend extra money that I don't have, for one. Two, the main reason why I don't tape my screens anymore, because I hate it when I go to reclaim my screens and you have to take all that tape off and you get ink everywhere. Or let's say, for example, you put tape on your screens and you have a dip tank and you forget to take the tape and you stick it in the dip tank, you take it out, try to peel the tape off.
Oh man, it's done.
You're like, what the? You can't even grab it. So that's why I don't use tape. I use my emulsion. I use the emulsion. If you guys compare it, because I know some of you are going to be like, well, you're wasting emulsion. If you compare the emulsion to the actual tape, and give me a fraction of how much you're actually investing in the emulsion versus the tape, you'll see that it's a lot more efficient.
Disposable gloves.
Oh yeah, yes.
Oh yeah,
those rubber gloves. Where you can't go wrong. If you like where she's starting out too, yellow light is a good thing because I mean, you can get away with some of the screens, but even like I can't think of his name, the one last week.
Steven,
like he was saying, I mean, over time a screen will expose depending on what emulsion you're using if it's left out long enough. I mean, everything, unless you've got like LED lights or something that don't emit, if it's not in the right range. But a yellow light will help out a bunch, especially when you're starting out. It gives you more time setting them up, getting everything worked out. If you keep it in the closet or something, it's fine. But that's something that's cheap. Like you can get them at the Walmart dollar store, the yellow bulbs, and they're not that expensive.
Right. And for me, I mean, other than
and then shop towels or use old T-shirts. Like whenever I'm screen printing, I always put like a blue rag because blue flag hanging out the backside. Only on the left side. Yeah, that's the Crips. Oh, no. But but I always have a rag there for the simple fact if you touch the screen, you get ink on your hand or something like that, or you're spinning it around and you notice it, you can wipe it off real quick and then go grab the baby wipes or something. But it's always better to have it there in case you notice it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or if you got to change it, it's there to go, so you're not transferring the ink over to the other stuff or messes everywhere.
As far as cleaning, I like using if I'm cleaning my press, I like using the WD-40. There's a not the regular WD-40, but the silver one. The silicone one. So that's I use that to wipe the press right there. So it's easier, and then once you get a good coat on it, it's easier to wipe.
And if you do it from the beginning, it won't look like my press.
Yeah.
If you don't do it from the beginning and you use spray tack instead of liquid glue, it will look like mine.
Yeah, please stay away from Waldo's press, everybody. All right, so let's go back
Trust
to
me, it doesn't matter how much WD-40 or which WD-40 you use. Waldo's press got leaves on it. I mean, it's growing stuff on it. Come on. You need a weed whacker before you start printing.
I can still print more than a merch maker with that thing. So
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
We haven't seen him print either with a merch maker. So
yeah. So yeah, just I've never tried baby wipes, so I gotta try that baby wipes thing. Never tried it.
Try. It's really good.
Never tried it. So here's a question. Well, it's not really a question, but this is from Greg. I look at one, all I see is Willy Wonka.
No, because he was asking me. He's like, what is that stuff you're always showing on your lives? It's like it's chocolate. He's like, what are you getting?
Is there white chocolate in it?
Huh?
What is it?
It's chocolate. I know
it's chocolate, but how come it's like white spots in it?
In your state, Ryan, we would call them edibles.
It's got walnuts and macadamia nuts and pecans. So it's bitter dark chocolate. Oh, and almond butter.
Yeah, that's some other butter he's got in there.
It's some
it's got some therapeutics in there too. Make you feel good.
AC said, "Right, king of tape." Let me go back to that tape thing that Juan was saying. You know, when I first started screen printing, I was doing the same way you were doing it, Juan. Just cover the whole thing and not worry about the taping, right? And then there's a shop here, not NorCal, but there's a shop here closer to me, or when I at the old house, said you should use tape. It's easier, and when you spray it, it doesn't come back to you. Not knowing, I bought a whole box of tape. Right? So I've been doing it, and I still gotta go. Like each time when I coat emoji, I keep forgetting to do the sides just to go back to it. But I got this big box of tape that I gotta use, so I might as well use it.
I like tape because the inside of the corners, I tape that, and I hate getting ink underneath the edge. And I'm not someone like I use a screen like on a normal. I may use a 17 or 18 squeegee. So it's going to push it out to the edge instead of using a narrow squeegee. And so then it gets in that little groove. So I like to tape at least the inside so I don't have that on there. I just hate seeing it in there, even though it doesn't.
Okay, so for that, Waldo, and everybody here, if like what Waldo's talking about, he's creating a tray, by taping all the way around. Me, I don't like it. For some reason, especially that tape inside, I hate it because that's the one that's going to get all over your hands. If you want to prevent that, and I'm not saying that Waldo's doing it wrong or anything, this is just tips and tricks, okay? If you want to prevent that, as soon as you get your screen, if your screen is brand new, go to I don't know, Lowe's, or Waldo always makes fun of me because I'm always at
Home Depot's. They're always there. He painted his back wall orange. I mean, that's all orange.
Not yet.
All orange in the background. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
That's affiliate marketing. I mean,
hey, what can I say? That's where I get all my jobs from.
You guys are horrible.
Get some silicone, especially if you get the Loctite clear silicone, and silicone the corner all the way around the screen and just let it dry. This is something that you want to do ahead of time. Okay, so don't think that you're gonna put the silicone in there, it's gonna dry, and then you can use it right away. But Waldo's talking about, we all hate that because that, especially white ink. I don't know why white ink likes to get in there, but it's a pain to clean it. So if you put silicone all the way around the screens, again, you're gonna have to silicone the screens and let them dry for about a day or overnight, and then the next day just coat them with your emulsion, and you'll be good.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because I don't. All the other inks is just the white. It just
Yeah,
gets
you
in
can
there.
use the red, or you get white in that screen somehow. It just magically appears. I mean,
Yeah, like, I didn't even get white.
Yeah, I remember coating a couple of screens, and you're grabbing and like, where's this come from? Like, what the heck? All right, here's the Juan. You have to translate this one. Oh wait, I gotta play this.
Suavemente, bésame, que quiero sentir.
It says, "Hola, compadres y comadres." The comadres was for you, right?
Oh, that's feminine. So you.
He said, "Hey, ladies, that's you, right?" And then he said, "Gentlemen."
another little tip when you are doing the tape, if you're going to tape, even on the bottom, if you take your tape, like if this is a sticky side, if you fold it over, so now that you have a tab, when you go to peel the stuff off after, then you just grab that tab because it won't stick.
Mhm.
Like, so if you're peeling the bottom or even on the inside, you do that, overlap them, and it takes a little bit more work, but it saves from trying to do because like Juan said, if you don't do something like that, you got to dig your hand in that corner where the ink's at, and you get covered in it.
Yeah, gloves. I get more ink everywhere when I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
As long as you can't feel the ink, you're just touching everything.
I use them to mix stuff with and to clean up with, but I don't print with gloves on.
No,
Unless I'm OJ Simpson, but
you know how some people use what do you call it? Aprons? Some people use aprons, and I'm like, why are you using aprons? Or they have a special T-shirt that they use, and
like that.
and it's got ink all over. And like, when you use an apron, if you have ink all over and you get another spot, you don't know if it's fresh or if it's dried up.
I have an affiliate link for aprons if anyone's interested.
I used to wear an apron each time before a project. I run it through the conveyor dryer.
Yeah, that's what you
All
gotta
the
do.
time. I run it through the conveyor dryer to make sure it's dry.
Listen, I'm gonna cut my.
You're
So if
drunk.
you get a little happy, don't say anything.
You're,
right, can you
you're cutting your lines to hand out tonight.
He's chopping them up. Now the reason Rye quit using apron, people, is because he kept tripping on it and stepping on it. They don't make shorter.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
it's like a dress to him. I mean, he keeps walking on it. It's one of them long wedding gowns. So.
Oh, here's a good question from youngsters. Does business loans work to start up?
I was gonna ask you to go back to his question because he asked that question earlier.
What was the question?
Different.
That was the one he asked.
It was worded a little different. Can you go back to that other one?
Yeah, the other one had more stuff on it.
Yeah.
From youngsters?
Yes, I like that other one better.
Which one? I didn't see it.
Yeah,
it says, is it better to get a business loan or a personal loan to start a screen printing business?
Okay, so take notes, guys.
This one, the second one. There it is.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Okay, so first.
No,
that one. So first, try not to get in debt. By all means, I mean, do whatever you have to do. Sell one of your kids if you have any kids. If you're like Ryan that has like 20 kids, Ryan has like 20 kids, so he can afford to sell one or two.
Yep, every year.
And Juan is always needing labor people, so he knows someone to sell them to.
Yeah, you sell me one of your kids. But try not to get in debt. So this is one of the things that I do. Okay, and this is honestly, this is what I do. If you need another machine, or if you need to get into business and you need a machine, figure out how long it's gonna take you to pay for that machine. Let's say, for example, if I want an automatic, right, which I want an automatic is gonna cost me about $50,000. So for me to buy that automatic, I know that I have to sell an X amount of t-shirts. I'm not going to get into the automatic right now. So, but let's say I want something that is cheaper, a regular screen press, and I know the screen press is going to cost me about $5,000. I do my homework, see how many t-shirts I need to sell to pay for that machine. This is exactly what I do. I go ask one of my friends for that money. This is, I know I mentioned one time, this is how I get stuff for free. You go and ask one of your friends to borrow that money because your friend is not going to charge you interest, and you don't have to pay him right away. You don't have to pay him a monthly fee. It's free. So, and then you work your butt off to make those t-shirts that you know that you need to make that money for that machine. That's the way that I work. So that's it has worked for me. So that's how I do it. Waldo, I need $50,000. Can I borrow $50,000?
You got a text coming your way.
I just did.
Let me piggyback that from Juan. Like, I would say, like, going same thing with Juan. Don't get into debt right away, because
Waldo
I mean,
answered
like,
my question before I even asked it. He said, "You're not getting 50G." Well, can I get 50K? Sorry, Ryan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I mean, that's a great question, because you're trying to start your business, and if you don't have the funds or capital to do it, I mean, what can you do, right?
Mhm.
Like you said, try whatever you can. Try not to get anything from the loan from a bank. I mean, if you can get
Especially
it from,
brokers. Especially
yeah,
brokers.
exactly,
Don't get anything from brokers. Don't.
because the interest rate is just crazy.
Mhm.
And
Every
you don't.
equipment that I have or ever gotten, I've never taken a loan out.
So
I literally hustled or worked nonstop to get what I had. I mean, like sometimes, like even let's say you're screen printing only, you might have to take another part-time job to make some extra money up. I mean, and like look for something that's in your budget. Like for instance, like on the Juan wants an auto. Look for a used way. Juan ran into bad luck with the used one first, but like the first thing, like if you're wanting to get into screen printing, you want to get a press, do not go look at the Ryanets or the Anatol, like the one that Rise got back there. Do not go buy one of them brand new. That is a lot of money, and if you've got that much money, you're already doing a job that's going to make more than the screen printing starting out.
yeah.
So look at what you can afford. Look online. There's so many people. Like when someone asked me about the press the other day, that press that I've got, they discontinued it on or not on Amazon, but on like Trade Up or whatever, Facebook Marketplace. I see them all the time between $500 and $1,000. They're side clamp presses. They're really good. Workhorse still supports them. You can find good used presses everywhere.
Right.
Ryan found that other one, the Ryanet that he had right before this one. I mean, you can find even the top of line. Some people are always selling it, getting out. On a printing equipment, I would always look online first. And then, I mean, maybe like Juan said, borrow from a friend or something. And like do your numbers first. See how much it's going to take for you to make it back. Because equipment wise, like on a $50,000 press, if you have no customers, it's going to take you a long time to make that back.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I get those questions all the time, and I always tell them to buy used. Don't buy anything new.
Yeah,
buy used. And one of the reasons why I hate doing, to be honest, I hate doing screen printing videos, because you guys see this, like, oh, I need to get that, or I need to get this. I see it, I want it. And I hate doing that because
throw some leaves on it then.
because I just don't like showing it, because in that reason, I don't want you to think, oh, I have to get that to make something. It's not, and I think that's the miss.
And then I don't have a problem, but like literally, I mean, I spent Juan seeing how much I spent on some of the other equipment recently. I don't have a problem buying it. If you have the money to buy it, that's fine also. I mean, because you do save some headaches as far as learning curve, warranties, and all that stuff, belts breaking. But if you don't look around, I mean, work your way up. Like you don't start out with the Ferrari on your first car unless your parents are rich. So you've got to work up to the dream cars that you want. And the same thing with the equipment. Start out small, work your way up.
Yep. Always start used.
Like all the other equipment, even that ink and all that you see in all my stuff, literally all that stuff is I bought all these other shops out. And I mean, I've gotten good equipment by it, but people always go out of business. There's always people selling stuff.
Yep. So here's a quick question: what temp to cure a plastic cell with a mini conveyor dryer? What's a mini conveyor dryer?
I guess one of the BBCs, is that what it's called?
Did Juan just yell out of like his bathroom or something?
I think it's one of them. It's what is it? I don't know the name of that one. I think it is the BBCs.
I know the BBC has a small one, and you have like the Vestax D100.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's if it's 320, it's 320.
Yeah. I was gonna say curing's curing. I mean, you've got to get the ink to cure. Depending what ink, if you use low cure or water, but whatever ink you're using, it's got to be able to hit the cure point. And inks are going to vary.
Right. And even those small ones are just a flash dryer. Was that
D100?
D100. So it doesn't matter what you have, either if you're using a flash dryer. Even those small ones are just big flash dryers, really. I mean, you just still have to cure the temp, whatever temp it is, for how many seconds. It doesn't matter. If that's how it calls out to be cured, that's how you have to cure it. Let me see here. Oh, here's one for you, Waldo.
I think I thought I seen the other one.
Says Waldo, I figured out the exposure time for both emulsions: 2 coats on the shirt side and 1 coat on the ink side for 30 seconds. Awesome.
That's really good. Here's another thing, Pam. I told Juan right before, just came in. The timers came in, so I'm going to finish up building the rest of the fixture for you, so you'll be able to set this little timer up. It will have a timer, so it will count down, and you'll plug that light in here. You'll set whatever time you want, and then you just hit the little start button.
Is that a 120?
Yeah, this is one on a 120. Yeah. So like
I remember I used to use those. If you guys ever seen the photography, like it has that big clock you spin around.
Yeah, this is a digital version of that, kind of. And so what it is like you can program a bunch of stuff with these. So on time, off time. The other one I have in there is wired into it, where that light I sent Pam is got a plug on the end. And instead of cutting the plug cable, I'm just going to take a junction box, splice into that, put the plug into there, and then the splice off of here. So she'll just plug it in just like it'd be like a wall plug. And then you just set the timer. So people that are starting out, like if you remember Poor-Man screen printing where he's using the light above. And then I already set the light up, so I don't have it here anymore.
Yeah.
I do, but you just plug that light in right into it. So if they're using one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I highly suggest that too, especially if you're using a tabletop lamp. Just have something set up that it'll automatically shut off.
Because the big thing too is like, and you can testify to this, Rye, is like when you went over to LED compared to your fluorescent lights, one looks better for once. But but if you remember, like the exposure time on your fluorescent light thing is minutes, where your LEDs are seconds.
I got 100 more of those.
He's gonna sell them.
Yeah. But and that's the big thing too. So when you're doing the LEDs, seconds matter. Like if you go 2 seconds over, you're going to overexpose. 2 seconds under, you underexpose. So on that, you really need a timer. When you're doing fluorescent bulbs, you can be half a minute off, and it's still you can get within the range.
Yeah, I think my old fluorescent one. I think I was even like 15 seconds off, and it was still fine.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't want that.
If you went 15 extra seconds,
to turn it off manually,
Yeah, if you went 15 extra seconds on that VPR now on your LED,
forget it. Yeah. Starting over.
That's where the RhyBeats screens would come in handy. You might as well rip it off and just throw it. It's just burnt on there.
Yeah. Is Eddie Jr. here?
He was earlier.
Oh, okay. Eddie, I got your email. I'll email you later.
Denise, I'm saving the offer for Rye.
Here's one from G6. Personal experience. If you are just starting out, make sure you are looking in Craigslist, OfferUp, etc. You can especially last year with all the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I think September there was a lot of equipment for sale.
One other thing to look at too, and this is for Rye and for G6, go to trade shows and enter to win, because they both won stuff at the. So I mean,
true. And being Pam. And,
yeah. So yeah,
technically, I won. Technically, I won
you
that
won.
press for being Pam. I didn't even get to open that thing. I'm so mad.
Hey,
Like,
look at
whatever.
the bright side. I got a flash dryer out of it,
Oh, thanks. There you go.
which I'm gonna open tomorrow.
All right. So since we're talking about equipment, like I was mentioning earlier, like almost an hour ago, that there was a question brought up in Juan's live yesterday by Jason Bukau. It says he's asking to get. Well, he had two presses that he wanted to get today. One was an Anatol or a Riley 4x4, brand new Riley 4x4, and a used Anatol Thunder. So, what do you guys think about that? And he said the Anatol was a 6.4.
I cannot answer that, but
I can.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Juan.
You can take this one.
No. I was just being funny, but
What's up, good life?
a used 6x4 in good condition is better than any 4x4.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you that from experience because I had one of the top of the line presses, and once I got my 6x4 used, man, I like this press. So let me answer that question also for Good Life. I already answered that question the other day. Good Life is not a barber. It was an anthill. Like,
Just stick his head in the hole, like.
I know your guy's address. Remember that, and I know your personal home address, Rob.
Dang it!
you gonna send us donuts again?
Yeah, I want some donuts. Telling you that fried Oreo thing. Oh, that messed me up for like 24 hours. I tell you, I couldn't eat dinner. I couldn't eat breakfast, but it was good though.
My glucose went all the way to 320. Speaking of glucose, guys,
Mine was perfectly fine.
today my glucose was at 151 this morning, and I just checked it about an hour ago. I was at 142. I was like, heck yeah.
So you give me these numbers. What is this supposed to be?
So you're good, like you're right now. You're normal. You're not sick, so you should be very close to 100.
He's not normal.
I'm sorry. I was talking about the glucose part.
Yeah,
He's not normal.
okay, good. Glad you fixed that.
But somebody that is not sick, with diabetes, they're very close to 100 or lower than 100. Me, I haven't been able to lower it below 200 for a while, and this past few days, I'm doing really, really good. So
okay, so
I
below
haven't been able to
200.
get my weight below 200. So we both doing the same thing, Juan, with that 200.
Easy, everybody.
Ed, you'll get there, Ed.
Well, going back to that thing, I said the same thing. I mean, I went from a 4.2, then a 4.4, then a 6.4, and then a 6.6 and a 6.6. Like once you go, I mean, I thought I was like, okay, I'll get a 4 color. That will be enough. It's not. Even like I think my first ISS, the guy I thought I was having like, oh, I got a 4.2 press. He said, well, you're gonna get rid of that in about a month. He said that it's pointless. I said, he said that you have to get a minimum of 6 color, even if it's 6.6 or a 6.4, which is true. So, and now I'm thinking, okay, should I get an 8 color?
And honestly, I would go with that Anatol over that Ryonet on that because more heads. I mean, you always can use them, even if you don't like. For instance, where Rye's got all them other heads on there, and it's not one job he's got up there. He's got probably 5 jobs out of the 6 heads up there that are different shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the nice thing too. You can get away with leaving them on there. So if you're doing like merch fulfillment, like Rye's doing, you can leave them in there so you can print on demand, ready to go when you're there.
Exactly.
And there's the thing to upgrade to. That is a thing we should all aim for, is a merch maker.
There's the M word again.
I've got mine ordered, so.
All right, you guys gonna have to take this one. There's a question, sublimation question, or a tip, I guess. I have not used it in 2 months. Have cleaned nozzles 25 times. Still has a bunch of small streaks.
What ink are you using? Which that won't matter really because it's too late now to change. But that is the big thing about when you do the conversions on them, like the 7710s and all that stuff. You're going to more than likely people use a CCSI or whatever, continuous ink system. And so if you're not level on it, you can run into issues. The ink can be really bad. And then the other thing too, if it's not used every single day, some sublimation ink is horrible and it will block a head really bad. And then so the only way to get it out is to keep doing head cleanings, flushings. You can buy head cleaning solution, flush it through there. That's pretty much the only way to really get it clean. Is soak the head though. You can soak it. You can buy the chemical. You can make it yourself. But the cost of a printer, if you messed it up.
I actually have a video on that, Waldo.
Yeah.
I have a video. Watch it. It's very easy. Just mix Windex and alcohol. And you don't need to buy the. I mean, if you want to buy the chemical, go
drink
ahead.
The alcohol. Why waste alcohol there, white rye? Right.
By the time you get to that printer, it's just be Windex alcohol.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, you can always send it my way.
Yeah. No, Ed. You will actually cure the ink. You actually make it worse.
Who are you talking to?
I didn't see the question.
Ed, easy airbrush. Talking about if you can steam the heads.
No, because the other issue
don't do that.
If you get moisture into them heads, literally that one that 1430 I had or 1400, literally moisture got into them other connections, and when you turn it on, it just nukes them instantly, and it's kind of like the old Ring of Death on an Xbox. There's no coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so it's $400 that looks nice sitting there. So if anyone needs a nice 1400 I got for sale, 1430, mint condition, just don't plug it in. It will work great.
Thanks, Lily.
What is it? You're still 4 feet.
Here's a great question. How do you guys do this? What's the best way to keep your personal account separate from your business account, and or how to separate them if they are joint? I just open a separate business account.
Yeah, I was gonna say I opened it a separate one, and then I run it all through there. My business, I've got a few business accounts, and they're all ran through their individual businesses. Occasionally, like for instance, if you take someone out to treat, you send them donuts. It's a tax write-off. So that was done with the personal account, but normally you can send that check or keep the receipt for that, tag it on the thing, and then you can reimburse it out later, kind of like a petty cash. But I would definitely not mix the accounts. Have two separate accounts.
I did that for about 2 years. It was a headache. So now we have two separate accounts.
Yeah.
One is strictly for the business, and the other one is for paying bills. When it comes to the business, everything comes out of that account. And then when I have to pay myself, if I ever pay myself, which I never do, I will do a transfer from one account to the other, to another account. And also, if you guys have a significant other, try to create an account that both of you are in it, because sometimes we go through, God willing, we don't go through an emergency. That other person can actually have access to that account. So make sure that you have another person on that account. Like Waldo, he doesn't trust anybody. So it's just him and his dog in that account. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. The ants.
I bury my money in coffee cans in my yard or my field out there. So
yeah, keep it business as business. Keep it separate.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you bring up Jason's question?
Jason ends this one, soaking the printer.
Yeah, he says, you can soak a print head. Jason, the way you do it, again, I need some viewers, some view time.
He's got more than me and Rye together, and he's trying to get plugs.
Don't listen to them; they're just haters.
I only got 180,000 on my one videos. I need to get to 200,000.
So what you do, Jason, is you take a napkin, like so, and fold it to where it fits inside the actual printer, this is where the print head passes by, and you put the napkin in there, and you
Yeah.
soak the napkin with the solution with the 50-50
Holy water.
Windex and alcohol.
Alcohol.
Yeah, and then just make sure the printer's off. Okay, unplug the printer. Turn the printer off first. Shut it down, and then unplug the printer, and then soak the solution. I'm sorry, the napkin with solution, and then just grab the head and move it on top of that solution. And don't worry, it won't mess it up. And if it does, I didn't give you this tip. So, and then just leave it there. Let it sit there for an hour, half an hour, and then just move it over, and you'll see how much ink actually went onto the napkin. And then try to do a print, and if it fixed it, then you're good. If it didn't, do it again until it actually cleans the whole thing.
Yeah, I did that with my 9600, my large format. That worked.
98.
No, I had a bigger one.
Yeah, he had that other one a
okay.
while back. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I asked for it after. I was like, I can fix it. And then he just like vanished.
Mhm.
You were really gonna come to California and pick it up?
Maybe.
Okay, then yeah. I got it fixed.
I've
and I
been to
didn't
a
wanna
lot of
buy new
states
ink.
to pick up equipment. So
I have a printer. Somebody told me they were going to give me their printer.
Yeah, someone's gonna give me a whatever.
You already got one. I sent you one. You don't even know how to use it.
No, it's still sitting there. I printed something from it the other day though.
Cool.
It looked better, I guess. Here's another business question. Well, you have to change the name of the business. What do you mean, Denise?
Uh,
by that?
excuse me.
someone already has a name you would. I mean, but like if you're wanting to run it as your own name, I mean, you could do that also. It would just be like DD doing business as and DBA.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I go LLC on all my stuff, limited liability corporation.
Right. That's
just
a great
because
question. If you are
like,
opening a separate account, a bank account, a business,
No, you don't have
actual business bank account, you have to have a business license, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, yeah, if you to open an account with your business name, your business has to be registered,
Right.
and it has to have a tax ID or a EIN number. Now, remember, this is very important. Okay, those numbers, either the EIN or the tax ID, they're like social security numbers. They stay with you no matter what you do. So, say for example, I don't like my name anymore. I'm gonna change my name, my business name. They'll change the business name, but the number stays the same. Just so you know. You can't. That number will follow you everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now you can open other businesses though. Like
Mhm.
for instance, like I've got them all, so I've got a different one for each one
Mhm.
because, like I said, it's a corporation on it, so it's tied in so that they're not like if one fails, they all don't fail.
Yeah. So,
But
and I
that's
wonder
something don't worry about. Like most people are not gonna do have that many businesses.
So, like Waldo said, his is a LLC. I will. Right now, we're working on making Liberty Graphic Designs an LLC, and that helps if something goes wrong and you get sued. They will not touch you. They only.
That's what I was gonna say. I would suggest LLC over doing business as, because when you have a doing business as, it's fine, or sole proprietor. Like what happens with that though? If you got sued, they can come for everything you own under your name.
Mhm.
When it's LLC, they can only come after the company. So if you have a house and all that, they're not going to get your house unless they got a good lawyer. But in general, you're safe that way. When you do it the other way, like especially if you're roofing, I would never do a doing business as a roofer, because roofers fall. Juan will tell you. I mean, you get another one really quick, Home Depot. But people people can get hurt real easy in that business, and you don't want to take the chance to get sued on that stuff.
Right. If
like
the liability is high, I mean, I think they'll tell you anyway. If your liability is the percentage is higher than normal, then yeah, do an LLC. I mean,
I mean, like I said, there's no issue starting the other one. Like screen printing, you're a lot safer. People aren't going to sue you in screen printing. But the other stuff, it can get tricky on the other stuff. So
right,
I would definitely do it that way.
Right. So here's a good question about Easy Airbrush. Do you have to keep receipts? if you're like me and don't like having paper around, I'd get the QuickBooks
He
because you
keeps
take a
rolling papers. No.
yeah, I would take QuickBooks because you can take a picture of it and it'll log it in automatically. So, do you have to keep receipt? Yes and no. If your business is like 90% digital, then it just logs it in. Like right now, I use PayPal for all of my transactions, so it has everything logged in. But if you are getting paper receipt, I use QuickBooks because you take a picture of it and it
Here's
logs it in.
another one, and this is a free one. Let me make sure it doesn't have my information when it opens up. But Wave is free.
Oh wait, yeah.
So
That's
like in
cool.
Wave, literally you can snapshot the invoices of about like if you go to the gas station, let's say you're doing delivery, so you're gonna mark the gas or whatever. You can snap that receipt. It takes a photo, logs it into the section wherever you want it to. You can throw that receipt away, and you got a digital copy of it ready to go. Waves is free. You can go back. You can log it on your phones, your computer. It all links together. And they can help you with taxes on it too. You do got to pay for that fee for them to run your numbers, but the program itself is free, and they've got like this is invoicing, so you can write invoices with it. So it will tell you your bills, outstanding bills, if you've got net 30s and all that stuff. And then they've got like here's the other app. They've got their invoicing, and then it's not going to focus, and they've got the receipt button. So if you get the receipts, it literally that's for using all your receipts. And so there's a lot of little things like I said. If you're out on a business meeting lunch, you can write it on. So if you're someone that worries about every nickel and diamond things, copy them receipts, snap them, and all that. If you're not good,
Yeah.
The other thing, if you use a credit card, use your business credit card, then it's all documented anyways. That paperwork, it's kind of like using PayPal, like I was saying. So it's all logged on there also.
Yeah, I would definitely like it. I mean, right now for me, PayPal is the easiest thing because if especially when you do a business PayPal, you can get a PayPal credit card. You can use it, and everything's get logged in and transaction. Jason N says, "Will ammonia actually unclog the head?" No, I tried it on my 4880. It did not work. So,
So there you go.
there you go. I tried every single thing. I don't know what it is. Let's see here. Here's a good one from G6. It all depends on financial situation. If you're working for a W-2 and you start a business, it will change your tax status. Best thing to do is to talk to a CPA. Have you guys talked to a CPA?
Yeah, like honestly, my tax stuff, I don't do my own. I have someone handle all my other stuff. So like when people like, can you do this or that? I leave it to them. If they tell me I can do it, it's good. If not, they handle the everything else because there are like even like especially this year and all that like with the government stuff where you're getting all the stimulus checks and all that, it's better to have someone do like you can do your basic stuff. No problem with doing that. If you're worried, use someone else because they know all the little ins and outs of things. They know how things should be written up, what you can and can't write off. Like because even like using internet, you can write that off if it's used so much. If you have a special room, let's say like how Juan's working outside his house, so he can write that rent off. If it doesn't have a meter hooked up to it separately, there's so much he can write off for that. Mm-hmm. They know the exact numbers. I mean, you can find it out online too, but every year things always change. It's better to I'd rather trust my stuff to someone else instead of me.
Right.
I do what I'm good at, and I leave them. They're better at doing that. I let the people that can handle that stuff better do what they're better at than me.
Yeah, I think this year we're gonna. Usually I just do the turbo tax thing, but since we bought a house and all this stuff, I gotta hire somebody to do it.
Because I got 4 houses.
Huh?
I said, Rye's got 4 houses. What's he talking about?
Yeah, I got 2 in Thailand. You want to go there?
Yeah, I'm down.
No, I saw this. Being Pam says trucking LLC 1 million in insurance. It's funny can you say that because my other business, you guys know I'm a DJ. So I remember one time.
You are?
Yes.
He wants to be DJ.
So we're putting trusses up, right? And I had a helper. This dude hopped on a crate which had wheels on it. He was putting the thing together, and the crate started moving, and he fell over with it. He's a family member of mine, so I looked down. I was like, "Man, I need to get insurance." So it's all LLC, like Waldo said. I mean, you just never know, like things like that. It all depends on on the type of business you have and the liability. Yeah, if you're actually doing something in that sense that someone could really dangerously get hurt, then yeah, I would definitely do an LLC. So let me see here. What's up, Levi? It says, guys, starting a business mean that you can write off a lot of things. Buy a computer, buy machines to write off, your house, space, etc. How do you guys feel about that? Because I don't really see anything back from it.
So honestly, on this topic, I kind of want to stay out because
Yeah.
it's very touchy because you guys can do something wrong and say, "Whoa, Liberty Graphics,
Yeah, exactly.
you can do this."
Yeah, that's why I said I don't. I have them handle all that stuff because, like you said, there's like every state's different too. Like what I can do in my state is different than what Rye or Juan can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like if I say you can do that, my state might be. It's a good example, like sales tax. Like when I ship shirts out, I have a program that handles each state sales tax. If not, I got to go through. That's one month, Rye. So
I need a cut of that. Yeah. So I can tell you what I do, like all the machines that I buy.
I wish I could show you guys this text.
That's just bananas and pickles. That's not the other stuff. That's why you got to keep it isolated because
like for example, the printer that I bought in June, right? So if we go back at the beginning of the year, I bought the plasma, right? So the plasma cost me about $5,000. And then I bought the F570 last year. It cost me $2,500. I cannot remember what else I bought last year. But when you do your taxes, you put in there the machines that you bought or the equipment that you bought. And one thing that is very important, do not take it off that 1 year. Let it go for 3 years. So what I mean by that is whenever you do taxes, they're going to ask you, do you want to do it, in this year, you want it to stretch it out in 3 years. Do it in 3 years because you don't know how you're going to do the next year, and that'll help you out. So
yeah,
that's the only thing I can share.
But yeah, I mean, as far as what we're talking about as taxes and things, yeah, it does get a little weird about it. So just make sure you guys do your homework. Don't take what we're saying as stone because it's not. Because it's from our experience, this is how we do our stuff. It doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you or it's the right thing.
Even Donald Trump's being investigated for taxes. Yes. So I'm just saying.
I don't know. So let's go back to the topic: screen printing.
Yes,
screen printing. So, I know the other topic was everybody's still bringing up is the blue Chinese press. Now, I don't have issues with that Chinese press. The only
He's Chinese,
but I'm not.
Asian.
No, I'm not. I'm Filipino. I remember when you go sign your form, you have a little checkbox.
Oh yeah, you guys got that.
We have our own checkbox now.
Not in Texas.
Not my state, you don't.
Not in Texas. Come to the South. Come to the South. We'll show you.
What does it say in the South?
Other.
Yep.
It's just alien.
There's white Hispanic.
Hey, leave me alone.
Now going back to the Chinese press, I have no issues with it. It's just you need to know how to use it, because a lot of people are to me are bringing it down because either it doesn't work for them, or because like I was saying, they see these presses and like, oh, you should get this instead of this. Especially if you're starting out, like really, really bottom rock starting out, is get what you can get for whatever money you can afford. So if the blue press you can afford, if that's what it is, I mean, to me, that's what it is. But you have to learn. Yeah, like we were saying, you have to learn that press. If it works for you, then it works. I mean, don't think that you have to get this Anatole press or you have to get this Ryanair press because that's what everybody's using. Granted, but
3 words.
What?
The ink buildup.
There you go. That's it. That's exactly.
You got a filter or something on. You're all blurry and everything else is in focus. You look like Juan on Cops. They blur him out.
What do you mean on Cops? That was not Cops.
Yeah, I mean, like
Martian.
going back to the
He
ink
was
buildup.
Martian.
I mean, he's man.
Yeah,
He
he works with what he has, and honestly, and I was joking about the gasoline, but the price of gasoline compared to screen cleaner is actually cheaper per gallon.
It is.
And that's why he uses it down there. They can't get the chemical and gasoline. I mean, granted, do not put gasoline. I did not say to do that. Juan's friends did, but but he uses the stuff that he works harder than I ever will on that stuff to get a shirt printed. I mean, I would never be able to put that much time and effort in to getting the quality out that he does with what he's got to work with.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Like he would have killed to have a blue press, where a lot of us always like that is the junkiest press. What he started with, well, I mean, he would love to have a merch maker. That's all I can say. But like I said, he does amazing with what he's got. I give him so much credit on all that. I mean, above and beyond.
NovaWorks, we're gonna get that and later on today. We're gonna talk about that. He's talking about the challenge. So let's see here. It's going back to the insurance. Is right. There's a DJ association. Yeah, I actually have that insurance cover. I'm using that insurance. I know the DJ association has an insurance company. So, yep. Let's see here. Gunlar says that Chinese press is the devil. Racist. Just kidding. No, I mean, I don't know. To me,
I wouldn't get one. I would look online for other people that's got presses. But the problem is not everyone's got time to look or even know what to look for. So like when someone's buying their first press and they've never bought one, and not hounding on Stan all the time, but like people will look online and see someone with 80,000 views and be like, oh, they said buy a merch maker. It's got to be good. He's got 80,000 views. And so like people buy like perfect. Reyes pushed that blue press when he got it. As we all know, Reyes is not a world-renowned screen printer, but people do not know that, so they see that and they're like, "I'm going to get that," because they don't know what to look for in the press.
I'm going to disagree just a little bit. I think the reason why they bought it when they saw Reyes is because it wasn't because of what he was doing; it's because he was being honest about.
That's one thing we were talking about earlier on. Reyes is honest about it. I give Reyes 100% respect on everything. Reyes is honest on it. The other ones,
his titles, and I don't like these titles when they say the best whatever for this, and then the same person will make another video a month later and they'll say the best. Let's say, for example, print paper, right? Let's use paper for sublimation. They say the best sublimation paper ever, and then a month later they make the same video and they say the same title and they say the same thing about a different product, and I'm like, what happened to the last product that you were claiming it was the best?
Well,
and in order for you to claim that that's the best, did you try them all?
Yeah, that's all. That's all what we call in the YouTube thing called clickbaits, right?
Yes.
So it's just for you to get clicks and to get views. So
I will have one of them coming out.
There you go. So and yes, you're right. I mean that kind of I don't even like using the word YouTuber or influencer, whatever it's called, which I hate using, is that, believe it or not, we as in people that make videos, is we do have the power to kind of like put something in someone's mind, like
mind control,
right? And to say that this is the best, this is this, or
go to
this
bananas and pickles. Go to bananas and pickles. Oh.
You didn't see anything.
It kind of
make me truffle shuffle, make it move. I can truffle shuffle it.
Right. So I mean, you get to that point that, you know, are you really here to not to tell people, not the word tell people the truth, but are you really here to help people, or are you here to just to make your YouTube channel bigger? I don't know. I mean, that's that gray line, right?
Like the blue press, here's my thought on that. Most people, when they screen print, when they're starting out, first they're like, hey, I want to do all these colors. And then they understand to do a multiple color press on your first thing is never going to happen. So usually that's when people do the one color prints. You can take that press and set it up to do a one color press and get it to come out okay. There's I can't think of his name. He's on here. He does literally, he uses transfer all the time. He has a successful business. He's Hispanic. I don't know his name. It begins with an M, but he does that all the time. And he does have the blue press. And the number one thing he says on his thing is like, it was hard to do anything more than one color. And for that, I mean, but if you're only doing one color things, you can get by with that press, especially if you're not doing white ink. I mean, white ink, as everyone knows, is not the first thing to do either. To get white ink to go through a screen, especially if you don't know mesh counts and all that, are not fun. So, I mean, if that's all the money you had, and or if someone gave you a blue press, yeah, run with it. But like I said, I mean, if you're looking around or if you're watching people, ask the people. I mean, the number one thing is ask more than one person. Like, for instance, there's 3 people here. You're going to get 3 different opinions if everyone thinks something's different on it. And try to find people you think are honest on it because, like I said, if you're, of course, if you're just starting out, I mean, I don't knock it. I mean, I wouldn't buy it me personally. And I've tried a lot of things. It's one that the quality's not there, and you got to assemble that. That's the thing too. Is like, I'm sure for that amount that is, you might be able to find one locally that's already assembled and save even more money.
Right. And going back to the youngster's comment there, he said Reyes is the reason why I got started. And believe it or not, I mean, a lot of people are looking into sublimating, you know, getting money elsewhere or trying to get another income. And it's that time of the year that people are thinking of getting started. One is they're getting their tax return, whatever it is, but they want us just to do something. And checking your analytics, if you guys, you know, check your analytics, that you'll see that there's a big jump the first 3 months of the year because you see that, right? They want to learn more of the business or they want to get into it. And I think that's why it's if you see the videos and say, oh, I want to do that and jump into it, that's fine. But you have to, like you said, do your research, make sure that you're getting into it the correct way, not just because of what he or she is saying. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of ways to do stuff. Just make sure you're what you're doing is correct.
See, like for example, when I got started, there was no YouTube, and there was nothing for me to research and watch videos, right? But there was internet, and I will, you know, try to research screen printing. And when I bought my first press, I mean, now thinking back of what my questions were, they were so stupid. I went and bought my first press, and it was a used press, right? And the dude was selling 2 presses. He said, I'm selling this 6x6 or this 4x4. And this is exactly what I asked him. Does this one do good resolution or is it high definition? See, now I'm like, oh my God, it's so dumb.
But those are the questions you need to ask, right?
Yeah, but it's like now it's like the press doesn't do anything.
Right.
Like I was laughing because Jason said I started with the white poly white with the 280, and I'm thinking like, damn boy, you must have some muscles to push.
He's got arms as big as these.
No, like this one's like this. But yeah, I mean, you gotta ask a lot of questions. Now, Youngster says that Reyes was the reason why he got started. If you watch Reyes's videos, and you're able to take out all the fuss, all the noise out of the videos, and you focus on what he's actually teaching you, you'll get good stuff out of it. Because Reyes is not teaching you something like, for example, us, right? We're focused on screen printing, we're focused on vinyl, we're focused on embroidery, we're focused on sublimation. Reyes can actually teach you how to do many different things. That's what I'm saying. If you can take all the fuss out, all the noise that's in the other videos, you'll see that there's actually something good in there, and that's why it works for him.
Right.
That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, hands down, I give Reyes more. Like after my one video where I did call out people, Reyes's comment is hands down one of the most polite, best people's answers I've ever seen. And like I said, he admits he's a influencer, he's a YouTuber full time. And like he said, I suggest people to double check products, look around, and see if there's something better. But he's like, and I give him things too, like Juan was saying, he's out there to show people multiple things, what he's seen done, maybe to make money for people. to get kind of like youngsters saying, people catches their attention and says, if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I give him 100% respect on all that. And like I said, he doesn't go out and say, buy this $30,000 press and do it. He's like, hey, you could get started with this.
Right.
And that is 100% true. Now, if you guys need to know where I got my haircut, Daniel just was on there. Daniel from Goon Life. He literally texted me and told me I could tell my barber location. So if you're in California, check him out.
Go to Compton.
Yeah.
They'll strip you down. I mean, they'll cut your hair.
He did fade in the back. He faded and put a little Z back here for me, but I can't turn around. But it's there. He did it. So
this is a good one right here from Levi. Say, I have the blue press. The issue is not quality or angling. You can troubleshoot it to make it good, but lack of practice will not make you able to use it. That's why I don't use mine. Now, I was going back to my old press, which is the Ryonet silver press. It did not have any kind of registration. It was just like a clamp, and that was it. You can move it side to side, maybe half an inch this way, half an inch this way, whatever. And that's the reason why I got the pre-registration. That's the only reason why I created it. So I know when I lay it down that I'm about 1/8 of an inch off if I'm doing like 4 colors. And all you gotta do is move it side to side. I mean, you could just have the press static as it is. You just gotta work with it and know your limitations. Once you figure that out, you're good.
There goes that M word again.
yes, and I will say, like what Ryan was saying too.
What did I say? Did I say the M word? I didn't say it.
No, it's in the comment. I see it too.
Oh.
I will say this: side clamps, because we all use side clamps. Side clamps spoil you if you're just starting out. Because literally, like I can go throw a screen on there, and the last video I did, I do not use any registration thing on there because I can put that screen and be within 6 inches and still line it up. Where if you're using like a back clamp that has no like adjustments but left and right, you've got to be on a lot more closer, or it's not going to work. Because you might be able to slide the platen out, in or out a little bit, and you can move left to right, and that's it.
Right. What's up, Cisco? What's happening? Oh, that Empress. I mean that M word.
Money.
Right, here's one. Does anyone know or remember the maroon presses? Which one is that one? Is that Antec?
Well, Anatol's old ones were maroon. Like my auto is actually a deep maroon. They changed it. It was maroon and yellow, and then Anatol changed it. The one after one I've got, they went back to that bright red, and they got away from a maroon. But I do not believe that's the one he's talking about.
I think he's talking about the Antec one. Is it Antec?
No, Antec, the maroon Antec, that would be the Antec Legend, and that's a top of the line press. So the only bad thing about the Antec, I wish that Dave Peterson was actually watching this video, and I would say, Dave, put some freaking side clamps on that press and some real planes, because they put those pallets made out of wood and they work really bad. I mean, that's a really nice press. That's what I used to print on. But man, they need some side clamps, because that press is a very good press, but without side clamps, it sucks. I used to, like, whenever I did back in the days when I used to do big jobs, I used like I did 450 pieces. I'll have to stop and re-register my jobs. And when I came to the side clamps, I haven't stopped. It goes. I mean, I start until I finish, and I don't lose registration. Side clamps are way better.
Yeah, to me, the going from the back clamp, the C clamps, to the side clamps to this press, man, it's like 150%.
Night and day difference. You can't compare.
I'm still getting used to it, because like with the C clamp back press,
I mean, you climb on the side on the other one. Where now the bars are in the way, so he can't get up.
You're limited, like, to how you want to move it side to side. But like, man, it's great. I mean, it's zero deflection. It's really nice.
Sent me. This is the maroon one he's talking about.
That one. What is that one called?
You see it, Juan?
Yeah, I see it.
I don't. That's
What is that one called?
I don't know. I don't
It
remember.
doesn't have a name. They're actually not that bad though. I mean, they had micros on them back then, and then the lower support were actually good. I mean, it's got 6 springs, so I mean, if one breaks, you're in trouble.
Yeah, if you guys are not watching Goon Life or subscribe to, make sure you guys do. And Nova works. So
Yeah, like honestly, guys, like me and Mom were talking about it earlier. One of the good things, like where people are always worried about pricing, Goon Life literally, he took a $5 piece of wood and turned it into $300 in 2 hours. Mad props to him. Like I have a laser, and I like literally Goon Life Daniel, you are amazing because that's why we were kind of talking about it today. You got 300, but even before that, when you quoted him, you're like 250, and then when he paid you, you're like, no, it's 300, and I'm like, he just got an extra $50.
Yeah.
But then this is,
I played it back. I know what he said. It was 250.
But this is what he said. He said $300, just like we agreed. So the dude paying $300, right? And then when he's doing the recap, he's like, it was 250, and he gave me $50 tip.
and then here's the thing. He even turned it into another 100+ profit because he's like, bring it back. I'll do a frame for you. Also, we'll make it nice wood. $100.
I think he could have got another. I think he could have got it for. He could have sold it for another like $350 or something like that.
But let's face it. Really, that's business. I mean,
that's what I was saying. You can learn a lot. Like, I mean, like in the Goon Life did that with the acrylic. He showed people because like the guy brought the acrylic in. So like when you guys want to see the true way to make money on things like that or how to deal with customers, Goon Life's videos are really good at that. Like I said, he's got ways. I mean, he even gives shirts. So if you go in there and put a shirt on, like he gave that guy 5 shirts because that guy tried them all on. So I'm gonna go there and try pants on because I can need some pants, and he was giving them out because that guy was putting them on. So I'll be there next week checking some chunky kids with husky wear clothes out. So
hey Levi, I'm not sure the question here. It says you guys right now I'm doing heat transfer vinyls old school, and where to get vinyl for RIP t-shirts. I'm not understanding.
Well, I don't do old school heat transfer. The ones I do are direct to film, so that's that newer technology. I guess that's what he's talking about.
Okay.
But even on the old ones, like plastisol transfer, single color works great. Like if it's a small job or something like that, or you're doing something where, like if you don't have a screen print, I would go like stay away from tops. He's overpriced. Use, I'm going to say the numbers wrong, Juan, because I always get them backwards.
613.
613.
There you go. I would use them or F&M.
Just like you told me, Waldo, use the alphabet, and this one is high, low, high. So
that's I don't have nothing. I didn't write it down. Juan. I didn't plan on saying.
Look. Me, right, and then somebody else.
You know,
I'm bigger than both of you, so like, I could be the 6.
Me, right, Lily.
You know, I was talking to Waldo yesterday. He must have called me Juan like the whole conversation. I was like, dude, who you know who you talking to right now? he's all, hey Juan. I mean, Rye. Then he goes, hey Juan, Rye. I'm like, dude. Do I look Mexican?
I was in shock the fame that I got to talk to Rye, Juan. That's what it was. I mean, I was
okay, that's what it is. See that one? He still gets the jitters.
Yeah, like I was like, I get to talk to the Godfather of Chinatown. So I mean, like,
little Chinatown.
Yeah, little.
Here you go. What? All right. If there's any more, I know we kind of went up and down the whole topic here, but if there's any other questions.
Yeah, one last thing. What's that? Because he was asking about the transfer paper. What is that? That paper you guys? I don't use it, but that you can print to do. You literally print out of a normal printer.
Nina.
Yeah, that's what he was probably have to do the RIP shirts. Because obviously he's not running like print cut plotters or anything. If he was asking for the what vinyl do you use to do the RIP shirt, so it'd be the Nina paper.
You know, I bought a whole bunch of Nina paper to do one RIP shirt. It didn't work out. I just don't know how to use it. I had to like turn it away. Like you gotta go somewhere else. Go to the mall, one of those malls, and just get it printed there. Sorry.
You're like, he's in heaven. Look, it's a white sheet. He's in heaven.
Yeah.
This is his heavenly photo. Sorry.
I think we only answered like 3 screen printing questions.
I know.
Do you have any more screen printing questions?
Yeah, if there's any other questions regarding screen printing, please put them down below. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about as far as screen printing? A person that's just getting into the game, getting into the business. What would your equipment suggestions, or what do you guys suggest they look into? Dun dun dun.
You can go first.
Go ahead, Waldo.
Well, like equipment wise, I would look at your budget, see what you have a budget for, because if you don't have a budget for like a screen press, because you got to remember, if you're going to screen print, you got to have a press. You can use a heat gun to dry them. It's going to take a long time. So kind of look at your budget before you get started to look at all the equipment, because you're going to need a press, a flash dryer. You could cure under the flash dryer also, or a conveyor dryer, and look at all the equipment you're going to need. You could also dry them under a heat press. It's tricky, but you can still press them. It's done. It's not hard to do. But you got to think what you're going to do, or look at the runs that you're going to manufacture. Because, for instance, if you're doing 2 colors and using a heat gun, that shirt's going to be $20 an hour, or $20 a shirt, because you ain't making money at that method. Yeah, and I would suggest start with the merch maker. But yeah, I would look at all your budgets and all that stuff. The other thing, if that's out of your budget range, go to transfers. Do not do super color. It's super rip, super scam. But use like another.
He said it, folks. He said it. He said it.
What did he say? What did he say?
But I would look like there's other transfers out there that are cheaper that will give you the thing if you're wanting a color transfer. If you're going just a basic 1 or 2 color, use the other guys like F&M and them guys, or 613.
613 originals.
Oh, I got it. Thank you. But yeah, use one of them.
That's one company you're not gonna get sponsored.
I know they will never.
You know what, guys? I tried to get sponsored 2 weeks ago. Then Juan just dropped the bomb.
I know he
you
killed
should
it.
have told me. But then
Juan
again,
was like, no, do not buy that.
No, it's just, honestly, I hope they're watching right now, because they said I didn't know what I was talking about. But here's the thing. I don't have a problem with you overpricing stuff, but please tell me, why are you overpricing
Right,
stuff?
exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Because
I think
that is why them kids in Ethiopia need that food, and they're sending it to them, Juan. And now you took the food out of their mouth.
No, but seriously, that press that they were selling, I can get that press for $700. That
Right.
printer, we can get that printer for $1,000. So what else do they have in there? The printer comes with all the ink, so I don't have to buy any ink. I don't have to buy nothing. So I'm under $2,000, and they were charging $6,000. When the heck did you get $4,000 from? I know your program is not that great to cost $4,000, and then you're only doing it for 1 year. And then what's going to happen after the 1 year?
Great question. That's a great question.
So that's why I said what I said. If they want to call me like they call Ryan, let's talk. But I'm gonna do one like I did with the
I'm gonna call immigration first, then I'm gonna call.
And I mean, I was just joking about that, but that's exactly the conversation that needs to happen. Like, you have other companies selling, they have prices. There's got to be a reason why they're selling. They have prices the way they price things, right? So that's the conversation that needs to happen. Like, why is this cost this way and I can get it for this much?
Yeah.
So again, one of those things is that you have to talk to these manufacturers. You have to figure out why they're priced the way they're priced.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they're going to be like, because of this, it has plutonium or whatever it is.
Yeah. Like for example, right. The printer that they had is $1,000 printer. So let's say, for example, they have $6,000. In my mind, it's $6,000 budget. Okay, what if I get the Epson F570? It comes with everything I need, everything, literally everything I need for me to make my money back on that press. That's $2,500. So then the press that I just got cost me $1,700. So if I add that to that, it's gonna be what, $3,700, right? And then they say, well, that's it. They didn't have anything else. Now they're gonna say, well, we have a software in there, and then we have a what is it? Support, customer support or technical support, right? And I'm gonna be like, okay, let's do that. Let's buy your software. We know that one of the best softwares up there is $2,000. I'm at 37. Now that brings me up to $5,700.
Mhm.
That would have made it kind of even. I would be like, okay, but now the package that they had, it was a crappy printer and it was a really crappy Chinese press. So that's
Right.
that's why I was like, if a company like that calls me to, sponsor me, I'm gonna say no.
Well, again, this is that thing, right? There, this is like the middleman thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, someone supplying, you got the middleman that you're buying it from. The middleman has to make their money,
Yeah,
right?
I don't have a
So
problem.
so
with
like,
it.
oh yeah. So if you guys can bypass that, you're definitely gonna get it cheaper. So
Yes.
that's the thing. Is like, do your homework, make sure whatever you're getting works for you. Even if you're gonna pay $1,000, but you like having that warranty, whatever it is, just make sure it works for you. But again, do your homework before you start purchasing. So here's a good one. Can you guys please do more pulling and push methods on screen printing?
Can I
Great
take
question.
that one? Can I take that one?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So you're always gonna get better results when you pull, way better.
Mhm.
Do you guys agree?
Yeah. What would you say the percentage of that?
I would say
The percentage. Me, when I do a pulling versus pushing, it's gonna be 85% pulling, 15% pushing, because the only time I do pushing is when the ink is too thick or when I'm using water base. For some reason, you out of focus again, right? Oh, there you go. You came back. So when you're pushing, you gotta watch out when you're pushing, because when you're pushing, if you don't know your angle of the squeegee, you can actually push way too much ink into the screen and you're gonna blow it out. So that's why you gotta be careful. That's why when you pull, for some reason, our hands end up at the right angle to push the ink through the
Yeah.
screen. That's why it says about 85%. The only time I do pushing on plastisol is whenever I'm working with inks. As a matter of fact, I actually threw those inks away. Those Ryan was talking about it the other day with Steven. Shimmers are a pain in the neck to work with. I hate shimmers because they're like glue. So those I actually do push. But whenever I work with shimmers, I make sure that my screen is nice and tight and stretched out correctly, because I'm gonna push it out of a registration. So that's where you gotta watch out when you do pushing versus pulling.
No, and
And
pushing is easier starting out if you're
Yeah.
starting out, because you can get more force behind it, and like, not making tall jokes, but like someone that's smaller stature, shorter arms, it is easier to like right, but it's easier to do a push than it is to do a pull.
That is a
Because you
good
can put
point.
your mass behind it, but if you're learning, practice pulling, because you can change things. Like, you can change angle when you're pulling, so you can put more ink or less ink down. So if you bring that squeegee almost 90, you're just going to lay a skim coat of ink down. But if you bring it to like a 45, you're going to dump more. So when you're pushing, angles are opposite. So to do that, you're going to have to change it. And what happens when you push, if you hit the wrong angle, you get that little stutter thing. And like all the way across there. Like kind of like my plotter, as one would say, the modem sound, the noise. So
yeah, I mean, I used to pull. Like I said, like Juan saying, you're not knowing the angle. You when you pull, it automatically goes into that angle. When
correct.
the only reason why I push, because I have a bad elbow and it's easier for me to do it that way. It's easier for fatigue wise.
Yeah,
So
and then you can print a lot more by pushing over at the end of the
definitely.
day. You have to build your arms up to do pulling. I mean, so we, like me and Juan, for instance, we don't have to go to fit, whatever it's called, fit, whatever that fit thing is. We kind of got it taken care of, but Rye has to go do handstand spins. Me and Juan don't have to do that anymore, so we can do the pull method. But
all right. So Denise says, when it comes to ink, what colors to always keep in stock? I always like to do the white, black, and RGB, red, green, and blue.
Yeah,
That's
the primary colors.
yeah. That's those are the colors to keep in stock.
You always want to stock up on white and black.
White and black. Yep.
And royal blue.
Always have a gallon of white.
And red
And a
would be
gallon
your
of
next
black.
two. And but the other thing too is look at the places in your area. Like for instance, I've got a school near me that we print, and their colors are purple and yellow, and then the other one across town is purple. So I mean, you got to look if you're going to do school stuff. Look at the school colors that you have in your area. I mean, most every color is going to be have white and black in it. So, like I said, if you're planning on doing school stuff, look at kind of school colors also.
Right. Here's a question. Oh, this for me. It's your fault I'm hooked to PMI tape, but it sucks on hoodies. Yeah, I'd never suggest doing that on hoodies. I've done it on hoodies, but if you have to do like 2 passes on hoodies, don't use the PMI tape. They do have the higher tack of PMI. I think that was it 363 or 362. It's their high tack. If you just want to use PMI tape, try to get the high tack one. If not,
like that, Riley is so tall right now because he's standing on that pile of hoodies that he ruined.
It's actually still in that bucket.
Yeah, like he ruined a lot. Like I felt bad, so like I made it fun to go give him hoodies.
Man, that was like the worst ever. Like right at the time when there's no hoodies available.
And hoodies aren't cheap. You're an $8 to $10 hit on every one that you ruin. It's not like a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Can I answer Levites?
Yeah.
Levite, so change your angle whenever you're pushing if you're having that problem. So remember what Waldo said. When you're pulling, your angles are like a 45, right? When you're pushing, your angle has to change. So if you're pushing and your angle is way too high, you're pushing a lot of ink. So pushing, you have to lower your angle so you don't push a lot of ink.
And don't put a lot of ink.
Just a very small film. Just very, very little. Also, whenever you flood, if you flood, because whenever you push, you have to flood. Whenever you flood, don't put pressure. And if you flood, try to lift the screen up so the screen is not touching the shirt. Because if it's touching the shirt and you flood, you actually push ink through it. So lift it up, flood, and then bring it down and push. And don't use a lot of force. And remember, your angle has to be a lot lower. The higher the angle, the more ink you want to push. You're gonna push through. So let's say, for example, you're printing white or silver. No, silver, maybe not silver, but white. You're printing white, and you know that white you're gonna need 2 passes, right? So your first pass, that one you want to have the angle a little higher. Your second pass should be very light, and the angle should be lower. That way you only put a small film of ink. Because remember, you already got the ink in there. You don't need to add more ink. You only want to cover or put a second layer in there so it actually covers everything. And there was another question that I really like.
Look, Joe's here. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
He's
another thing I'm pushing
he's
too.
Flexing with his embroidery stuff, of course.
It doesn't take as much force to push. Like you don't have to push a lot of force to push. When you're clearing a screen the first time pulling, it does take a little effort, and your hands will cramp up. See, I told you it's the short people can't get leverage.
That's why I'm 6'6", but
because Joe was saying too, he's got the short guy thing. And so, like I said, and that's the thing too. If you are used to pulling and you go to pushing, normally you'll get a blurred image because you push so hard that you're used to doing the pull method, and it doesn't take much. Like if you watched NorCal video they put out today, they had I don't know his name, the tall guy.
Oh, Steven?
Yeah, it looks like Jesus. No, he looks like Jesus, but yeah. Matt. They had Jesus printing, which of course he made the ink walk on water, so he's just like let it go. But when he printed, it was like no effort to push because pushing doesn't take as much force per se because you got a better leverage advantage.
Can you bring up Bad Brats? Can you mix low cure and regular cure on the same job? Be careful. Be careful because some inks, low cure, what they have is they actually have a catalyst in it. That's how they can get away with curing it at a lower temperature because they already have a catalyst. The type of catalyst that they have in there, however, is different than the one that we normally buy.
Yeah.
The one that we normally buy is going to go bad within 8 hours, right? They have a different type of formulation. So if you mix regular ink, you might activate that catalyst. And sometimes, and I'll make a video on that. Sometimes it'll actually harden it as you're mixing it because you activate the catalyst.
Because the other thing too, if you're flashing it and you've got a low cure ink, and then you go to the normal ink, your ink isn't going to be gel anymore. It's going to be literally solid. So when you go to put that layer on top, there are some inks like the Fusion 180. Fusion 180, you can run it through the whole range. So you can use it, but Fusion 180, like Rye will tell you, is like pushing peanut butter through a screen. Don't do it.
Let me tell you, I printed 2 masks for a sample. Fusion 180 ink because they're 100% poly. I forgot to clean it last night, and it's rock solid on my screen.
Throw it away.
And the print was maybe 2 inches wide.
Fusion 180, it is made for autos, and it is not made for screen printers that like letting things sit. You got to clean it and clean it instantly. It turns to concrete. It's got a mind of its own. I would not suggest as a first ink, maybe a last ink, but that you're never going to use again.
What's up, Antonio? We're talking
Antonio's here.
Hey, the ink build up. What's up, Antonio? We were just talking about you earlier. Like, because Juan mentioned you. Yeah, so now we're saying that how you can start with anything really to get started. So not to get caught up with all the big brand names and whatever works for you, and if you can make money out of it, then it is what it is. I wouldn't. That's what we're talking about. So we're talking about screen printing. George Lopez, I started out pulling, did not work out. Switched to pull and have had the stuttering thing going on. Figured out that I did not have leverage. We'll make a small 4-inch platform and go back to pull.
Yeah. It is a leverage thing, and like I said, even like where he mixed up the push pull on the second part. If you get that stutter, it's the wrong angle. So like if you're pushing, you get that jerk thing. It's an angle thing. It's not the same angle as a pull.
Right, and and all that is pretty much a learning experience.
Yeah,
right?
obviously it's learning. Like
don't do it on a paying job, but like test it out on some scrap jobs and see how it looks. And before even try doing pushing and pulling at the same time and see what outcome you're gonna get.
See, Rye just said he's gonna volunteer to do that video. He's going to do the stutter push and then the pull and then the shuffle. You can mix the dances in between.
Right.
With the merch maker.
The merch
maker.
We need to stop talking about that dumb brand. They're going to get a bunch of sales because of us. Just mentioned it. They're going to be wondering, where are these sales coming from?
We're almost at 2 hours in, which is...
Wow, already?
Yeah, really. So before we go, we'll do another up to 30 minutes. I wanted to talk about the challenge. Now, I know I was supposed to do it last week or maybe in this week. I just haven't had the time to do it, but next week, I promise I'll do it. And then, I'm going to do it a little different because I know Juan did, he did water base, right? Did water base. But I'm going to try to do a plastisol. So plastisol, and I'm going to use all of my boards. So I'm going to try to beat, what was your score again in 30 whatever minutes?
31 minutes. I did 80 shirts. But before I say that, actually, I was thinking about this, Lily. Lily had a question a while back, and I was going to ask you to go to Lily.
Look, Rye's still shorter than him in that photo.
What was the question?
It was a flash dryer. Oh, there you go. She just posted it up. She asked for a flash dryer that was good. You go like this. Watch me go like this.
See, they do have that infrared flash dryer that's like that Cam used and all that, and they fixed all the issues with Cam. It's like $500 or $600 right now. I mean, it's
600.
Yeah, it's a little bit of money, but the speed and how good it works, like it's kind of like the one that Rye's got back there, except it's kind of like the blue press version of what Rye's got. It's got the sensor and all that.
The infrared flash dryer that he had a few years ago.
The core, it's actually quartz. Yeah, it's the same. So it's the same style as yours, where you've got the sensor,
Right.
but it
Greg,
actually,
he has a blue screen, Greg. You have a blue screen, right?
no, green screen. It would be
Green screen, I'm sorry.
It can be any color as long as it's
Wait,
not.
what are you guys talking about?
I'm used to green, you know.
It's St. Patrick's Day. Da, 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 da. Cheater.
Yes, it's a green.
And I really thought you were in the shop the whole time. I was like, man,
Really?
look at that shop. Because I was like,
green screen.
he had the TV going.
He's set up at the shop.
I should have thought of the height and the size. He didn't fit into that.
What are you talking about? Dude, look.
I was like, he looks almost 6'6" in that photo next to that stuff.
So, are you gonna answer Lily's question, or?
Yeah,
This is the question that she had. She was looking for a good, I think she said cheap flash dryer that works.
yeah. On price wise, depending on your budget, like you're gonna go, you got infrared and then quartz. So if you can go with the quartz, it's gonna flash quicker. It's gonna be
No. That's a little still too. I think she's talking more into like a heating element. Because if we're talking quartz and then we're talking,
yeah. Well, if you go with the one's right around, you can find 200 to 300. The other one's gonna be about 6. So on that, like, I mean, get which one can get you started. But on that, if you're looking, honestly, because all the infrared ones are all going to be the same. On that, I would look on literally look on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. There's everyone in the state that has flash dryers, because that's something that you can get a cheap one and it will do what it needs to do to get you started. The biggest thing on that is make sure it fits your platen press, because what happens is a lot of people, like where Rye had his old one, which he's not in the shop, so he can't even point to it. But where Rye had that one where it was turned sideways, if you remember, where it wasn't over the platen all the way, if you did a full area, it wouldn't have cured the whole thing. Of course,
I was fighting that the whole time.
Yeah, so make sure you get one to cover what your biggest areas first. That's the first thing I would look at. Is it's better to have it bigger than you need than a smaller one, because then that limits how you're going to have to flash it.
Yeah, so now let me explain a little bit about the differences. If you get a good quality one, it's gonna maintain the heat all the way around. If you get a cheaper one, like the ones you find on eBay or Amazon, you know, the ones that are $150 to $250, they work okay, they work good. I actually printed with one of those for like 3 years. Greg asked me for basically the same question, right? And I told him, hey, I used one of those, and it lasted me 3 years, 3.5 years, something like that. And then it just burned. Well, Greg's didn't work. So that's another thing. About the cheap ones, or the cheaper ones, the more economic ones, what is going to happen over time is going to start, the heating element is only going to hit in the center. The outside is not going to heat as much. So you're going to see that your prints, especially when you have a big print, the center of the print is going to be cure and the outside is still going to be wet. So
going back to that one is my old flash dryer, the black one. It had the coil in it.
Yeah, and that's infrared. Yeah,
right. So it would there are times the hot spot is in the top, the middle, the back, or even like, you know, somewhere in between. So yeah, it wasn't consistent, but you have to know, like how I figured that out is, you know, heating your platens, you'll kind of feel the heating area. So that's when you have to just kind of kick it a little bit and then it'll work back up. So
and like Good Life said too, like Ranar's got a flash dryer for $200 right now. Ranar makes pretty good stuff. I mean, so like on some of that stuff, you do get what you pay for on the quality. You can get by though. I mean, it's hit and miss, like where Ron was saying too. Like Greg had issue where the heat press or it didn't work well. That's like any of the stuff from China. Some people get good stuff, some get bad batches. The good thing is, like, if you do buy something like that, make sure they got like return policy. Pay with PayPal so you can get it covered. But like a lot of times, like, I mean, I've bought a lot from overseas, and if you speak to the people enough, they'll work on it. Like even like Cam, where that sensor went out, that new model of that one that he has now, where he had the issue that sensor was inside, it's actually wired over top, so the wire doesn't get hot. They refixed all them issues that people were having with it. And like I said, I mean, it's granted it's hit and miss, but I mean, a quart's a quart on how they work, how they heat up. So as long as it's handled well and it's wired well, because that's the biggest thing with a lot of that stuff, the wiring is not good.
So like Blue Fire said, be careful whenever you put one of these in your house. Make sure 100%, even if they have. I was looking for the switch. I used to have a switch right here. I do. This is from my old flash dryer. So even if they have one of these switches right here, even if you have one of these, unplug it. If you're actually working at the house, even if you have it at the shop, unplug the flash dryer every day, because one of these can fail, can burn inside, and and I'm talking about these things are really good. They can actually get stuck inside, and then in the middle of the night it'll actually not flip itself, right? But inside can actually
it burn. I've had 3 shop fires with like good. I mean, my other shop was with good equipment. Because one of that thing when they go, and the other thing, it's electrical fires, so you can't throw water on them. You got to kill power.
You can, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, that's how I got my hair done that way before I cut it.
It's funny that you say that, Juan, because the black one, my previous one, it got stuck, and I didn't know. Like I went to the garage, it was really warm. You know, like the pallet. The good thing it wasn't under a pallet. Like I realized it was still on, so. I think after that, I was unplugging it the whole time because you just never know those things unless you can go to the breaker and turn it off. But always unplug it. Here's a good question from Denise. What temperature should the flash dryer be, and how high from the garment?
So some, not all, but most, I should say, most of the flash dryers, they only have one temperature. You cannot control it. Most of them. Some of them do. And just so you know, usually the temperature at the heating element, whichever one you have, if you have an infrared or if you have like Waldo was explaining earlier, and I cut him off. If you have whatever you have at the heating element, it's going to be like 600, 650, depending on the flash dryer that you have. At the t-shirt, though, whenever you have a t-shirt, it should be no more than 350. So you want to stay within like 3 to 330, no more than 350, because you'll burn the shirt within like 20 to 30 seconds.
And then the other thing,
I think my temp right now is like at 280, maybe 270. But even that, it's like at before I used to have it at least an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches from the garment. But now it's now with this new flash, there's a dial temperature, so I can have it higher and I just have it a stronger.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and like the ones that most people are gonna get, they're gonna be on the whole time. So with that, you have to know how fast you're printing a shirt to determine the height to set it. If you can, like, if you're doing, let's say how Juan was doing in that shirt challenge, you're gonna have that thing maybe an inch off the top of that where the shirt just barely clears. If he was actually flashing them.
Actually, mine, Waldo, I'm sorry to cut you off. Mine is a forced air. So that sucker is like super hot, and if I leave it there for 15 seconds, I will start burning the shirt.
See, again, these people got stuff forced air. Whatchamacallit, right? The general people with no forced air.
It's gonna be on static. Just you gotta make sure.
Their forced air is a box fan sitting next to it. So, but in general, like Rye was saying and Juan was saying, is like the forced air helps them better. So on that stuff, you can adjust. If you don't have forced air, if you don't have quartz, what you're going to do is determine the speed that you're printing will determine how high to set that. Because you need the ink to gel if you're doing 2 coats, print, flash, print, or if you're just if you're curing the ink just to do another color so they don't make contact. So you don't want it to sit too long. So if you're starting out printing, move it away higher so you got more time. If
Waldo, I'm sorry to cut you off. For those of us that are barely starting, can you explain? Because you already said it a couple of times. I mean, I know what it means.
Martin Jones, yes.
Quartz. I don't have one sitting here. Oh, no, is that what you're talking about? The quartz and the infrared?
No. Can you explain gel? Gel state.
Gel. It's a ink. It's a liquid more or less when you're starting out. If you were to take screen printing ink and dump it upside down over time, Gillette. It is ink is more of a kind of like a peanut butter way. when you take it under the flash shower, when you let it gel, you're letting it cure where it's putting almost a skim over the ink, so that the ink, when you press on it, is not sticking back to your finger. But you're not curing it enough so that it's bonded to the shirt. It's not cured all the way through. It's just enough where it's treated enough. Every ink gel's at a different temp. So when people say, what should I press? Like if you're using a low cure cures at right around 280. So you don't want it to get to 280 on that temp. So you want it to get to where it's you can touch it. It feels tacky, but ink doesn't come up. That's kind of the gel state.
Can I explain it for my fellow Hispanic and Mexican people?
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay, this is so my fellow Mexicans and Hispanic people can understand what Waldo just said. So gel state, say for example, if you're making Jello and you're making a dual or triple flavored Jello, you know how you have to wait till one of them solidifies? That's when you put it. Now, say for example, if you were to put the Jello hot into the other one, it will mix.
You're about to say yellow, huh? You're about to say yellow.
Yellow.
That's what you want in the ink. The ink will stay in a gel state. That's what we call a gel state. It's when the other ink that you put on top will still have enough to grab onto the one that's already on the shirt, and it will mix a little bit, and it'll grab on real good. So whenever you do a second flash or you throw it through the conveyor dryer, both of them will dry as one. If you actually leave it under the flash too long, what Waldo was saying, if it actually solidifies or cures, will be the correct word, right? If it actually cures on the ink and then you go to apply a second layer, guess what? Your second layer is coming off.
Yeah, and then the thing, that second layer could go on and you'll run it through the dryer, it seems fine, but when you wash it 5 or 6 times, that color is gone.
It'll
crack. It's not coming back. It's not a color changing shirt. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's kind of like Juan's hair.
Hey,
once it's gone, it's gone.
At least I got some hair. Right, think of your hat. See?
All Asians are born like...
This is gel. I put gel and I slick it back.
Yeah.
So you can't really see it.
He's got clear hair. He dyes it.
Oh, man. All right. Let me see.
Tonight's sponsor is Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew.
Ew, Mountain Dew. It's so much sugar.
Mountain Dew game fuel.
All right. So if there's any other questions, please put them down below. We're gonna try to wrap this up. What about you guys? What you guys got anything that you want to add to it? Juan, Waldo?
Martin said, "What do you add? What do you do? Or when do you add the vodka to the jelly?" Jello, my bad. I'm dyslexic.
In my next video. Yeah. Well, see, most people don't put vodka, Martin, because they drink it as they're making the Jello. They run out.
That's a white person thing, Juan, to call Jello shots.
I know what they are.
Jello shots.
I'm not from Kentucky.
See, where I was looking, he was getting that shot.
No, I can't find it. Oh man. But anyways, guys, before I forget, thank you for joining us. We wanted to talk about, actually 2 weeks ago we wanted to talk about a little bit about screen printing, but I had NorCal Screen Print Supply on, and hopefully I think that was a pretty good live. But as far as screen printing, like I said, if you guys have any other comments, please put them down below. Now let's quickly, I wanted to ask you guys something quickly. Now I know it's 2021 in the beginning of the year. As you guys know, there's a lot of things happening in the community, like Mikey Design. I think they're moving right now. That's why they didn't have a live yesterday. Mm-hmm. And you guys know that T-shirt chick got her a new space. So let's go to Juan with Liberty Graphic. What is your 2021 projection?
So, we're actually looking for a place to move ourselves to, but
are you just moving? You're not moving a house. You're just moving talking about spacing, right?
Yes, moving the shop to an actual building. Well, one of them somebody beat us to it, and we didn't get it. The second one is still we're still kind of looking into it.
Mhm.
But we actually decided right to pay rent here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pay rent here for the rest of the year, unless something comes up. So just so you know, we're gonna be paying. We're gonna start kind of low. We're gonna be paying, or Liberty Graphic Designs is gonna be paying Liberty Graphic Designs house $850 a month. We actually already started in January,
Mm.
so this is our third month that we'll be paying rent here. Because I've been here for 6 years, 6 or 7 years on my house. I don't like it one bit, but you know,
Wait. Go back to your house. Did you finish the construction?
no, no, I haven't. I have not.
He doesn't know any Mexicans to help him.
No, honestly, the reason why I haven't finished the house is one, I don't have enough time. Two, last year it hit us from every single way. So we couldn't take the little money that we had and put it in the house. We had to we had to, put food on the table rather than fix the last room that we have in the
Right.
house. So, but yeah, right now the plans are to move into an actual building. I'm looking, but I'm very picky, and I'm actually looking for a building to buy, not for a building to rent. But I'm actually right now we're thinking about renting a building, and like I said, in the meantime, we're paying rent here as if we're already at a
When you say we, you're talking about Liberty Graphics is.
So one of the things that you always want to do, and even if it's just you, like for example, in my case, it's just me, right? I'm a one man show. You never want to speak in the single or singular. You always want to say we, because it actually gets your mind into that state. Like for example, when I don't have employees right now, right? But when I have employees, I like it when I have employees because I don't think for Liberty Graphic Designs. I think for that employer. I'm sorry, for that employee, and I look for something for that employee to have a job. That's one of the things I like about me having employees. Because oh god, take that off.
Dude, no.
It's like a serial rapist. No. So, but that's one of the things I like. I like about having an employee, because I'm always thinking about that employee. It's like, dude, I need to pay this employee. I need to have something for them to do. So, but yeah, so that's a very good thing, guys. Always speak in the we, always. So remember the law of attraction. Whatever you want,
Mhm.
you gotta.
That's the we calling right there. That's the we. Are
Now,
you still
Juan's other
alive?
goal is to get Lola's shirt done this year. I think that's really Juan's number one goal is
And
to
the-
get that printed. So
And the reflective ink.
yeah, and the reflective ink video. I think that ink already dried. So
All right. What about you? Wait. Let me go backtrack real quick. Juan, so can you kind of explain the reason why you'd want to buy instead of rent
Because
or lease, whatever?
I don't know, for some reason I've always thought that money rented is money lost. So
Yes.
money that you can put in a building is an investment. So whatever you lease or rent is gone. That's it. It's done. But if you can put it into an investment, say for example, Liberty Graphic Designs happen to close their doors down tomorrow, right? And I'm paying on a building. I can always sell the building. If Liberty Graphics goes down tomorrow and I was renting, guess what? I don't have anything. I don't have anything to fall back on.
or if
So-
they sell that building you're renting, then you've got to find.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, you could rent your building out even if you shut it down after. There's so many more advantages to buying. Not everyone can, so I don't have a problem with people. But if it's in your budget to do it, you're better off because it's an investment and you're going to make your money back on it compared to not owning it.
Nintendo Wii.
It's money that you'll never see again.
That's true. So that Nintendo Wii threw me off. So yeah, that's the reason why we couldn't move in, because the building that we were going to move in just closed 3 weeks ago. they sold it. So the new person that's coming in, they don't want to rent. So, or they don't want to lease it out. So it's like, that sucks. So the other place that we're actually looking into, hopefully we'll move into it. Is a spot exactly. I mean, it's a picture just like Mikey Designs. It's first. I don't know now in other states, but for some reason in Texas, those buildings they're everywhere and they look exactly the same. It's like a one bay garage. They have a small office. So that's the one that we might move into. It's just, again, it's like watching.
He's actually talking about moving to Mikey Design's old shop. That's what he just said. He didn't want to move it out.
That's 3 hours away from me. 3.5 hours away from me. Houston is a lot cheaper than Waco. Waco is about 4 times. No, it's more than 4 times. Houston has millions of people. Waco has 130,000. So
there you go.
Auburn has 1,000. Right.
And Houston is a lot cheaper than Waco. So, I mean, like, for example, Mikey is going to be paying, or Matt is going to be paying, I think he's got about $1,000 for 2,500 square feet. That's free here. I think it's less than $1,000. Me,
that's so cheap.
Yeah, me for a space that like where Matt is at right now, it's going to cost me $150 plus bills. So I'm about $1,100 to $1,200, and all in. So
that's crazy you're talking about that, because when I was still with the old city, when I was looking, it was like 1,500 square feet. I mean, you're looking at almost like $1.20, $1.50 a square foot, and you're almost looking at almost $3,000 a month, and for 1,500 square feet. In California, it's
chopped up. So I remember that video, right, where you went to the few places on there, and they weren't all perfect for what you were getting, and that price is like here. I mean, I could have got you almost triple that for that much.
Yeah, right. Here, one of the cheapest prices is $7.50 a square foot. $7.50. There's a building that is all beat up. It used to be an old wood. What do you call this? When you go by wood,
barn.
A lumber. Yeah, that place is about to fall, and that's the cheapest one here. And their rate is $2.75 or $2.78 a square foot, and it's a big building. It's not like I can just rent just a little piece or a small size of the building or a small part of the building, but it's also for sale right now. They want $330,000. Here in Waco, it's too much money. That's a lot of money for the state of the building it's in. So right now, the properties in Waco are going, man, you cannot buy a freaking house right now. You can, like I said, for example, if I put my house up for sale, literally be gone the same week.
Do it.
The market is just really hot in Waco right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I felt the same way. That's the reason why we kind of moved. We're like, the Bay Area where I was at, it was a buyer's market and a seller's market at the same time. But again, we were like within 10 miles of the Silicon Valley. And that's the reason why the prices were ridiculous as far as like getting a 1,500 square foot shop, and with not even an office, with a bathroom, that's it. You have to build in, and now the city I'm at is like almost maybe 80 cents a square feet, which is more reasonable, but again, it kind of sucks. But anyways, sorry about that. Waldo, I'm sorry, Juan, were you done? Was there anything else?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, Waldo,
I am not
2021 projections.
I'm actually just expanding out some other companies, like even like the bananas and pickles. Literally, it started last year.
He's gonna open a donut shop.
Yeah, I do got the equipment for that. So
and he's got the #1 customer too.
Husky Nation Donuts. I mean, but my thing is we got other equipment on, and I've got other equipment ordered. So just expand some other revenues out and other things. Expand the bananas and pickles out a little bit more. The other shop, I've got to see how the market is around here, because a lot of things are shut down in our state still. So like the school sports and all that are still not picking up, but we make up for the other things like the factory stuff. But that's kind of my goal that way, is expanding the other markets. We're actually ahead of last year. Every year we've had good numbers, even with COVID, because we found other means to make it up the difference. But that's kind of the goal this year, is just expanding to other markets, other revenues.
Okay.
Other stuff can't say on here. So
No, that's fine. That's good. That's good. I mean, the reason why I asked, because I think everybody needs to have a goal, especially with 2021. With it's there's a lot of break in the government right now as far as like getting loans or whatever it is. So I think people need to start doing their homework if they're really serious about getting into any kind of business. So
I mean,
not just
like nowhere in history we've got this many like stimulus checks and all. And if you add it all up, which I haven't got any yet, but literally it's the money's there to start stuff. If you're looking to start, you just got to find the market, find your niche. And I mean, that's like we all do screen printing, and let alone it's not like I'm not affecting Rye's screen printing if I screen print or advertise or do a live video with him. Invite same thing with Juan. Like Juan still sells tumblers, I sell tumblers. Yeah, the honey shop. Number one honey.
there you go.
Greg is saying that because of my chocolate.
Yep. Right.
That's a really good
noodles.
point.
I got it.
So that's a really good point that searching for supers is saying. When we bought this house, we bought the house 3 days before my wife and I got married. But at the time, we were actually going to buy a shop, and the shop was $52,000. And the only reason why we didn't buy it is because we were going back and forth, because the shop used to be a gas station, and the guy didn't want to remove the tanks, and it was $24,000 to remove the tanks. So
wow.
the bank wanted him to remove the tanks, and then they'll proceed with the loan. Well, we moved out of that deal, and another guy jumped in and bought it for $42,000. That shop just sold to a friend of mine for $198,000. So I'm talking about 6 years later. Why can't
take you to the
said I could do strip club.
But yeah, I mean, I would love to buy if I can. Like, for example, I didn't want to tell you guys anything, but I lost a property that I was putting the money together. It was only $30,000. So I was like, man, I can buy that. So by the time I went and actually made the offer, it just sold a week before. So I was like, dang. So it sucks, right? And I'm like, man, that sucks. So now that property, I'm talking about from January to here, they won $60,000. They doubled the price on that property. The guy that bought it this is what he did. He bought it and never took the sign down. The same company that he bought it from, they put it back on the market, and that's what they're doing in Waco. This is the bad thing about Waco right now.
Wow.
There's a lot
prices of just going up.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to buy property in Waco, I've got a building in Waco right now. I'm wanting $65,000, but hey.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
That's crazy.
But that's the bad thing about it, because people are just coming from out of town and flipping this properties, right? So, say for example, I was even thinking about making an offer on that property. I like the property. There's nothing on it. It's just a piece of land, and just buy it and later on building on it, because it's like it's gonna happen the same thing that I went through. Because when we bought the house, we had the money to buy the property, and then we said, we need a house, so we went and bought the house instead of the property. Now I'm kind of like, man, I should have bought the property, the building for the business.
Right.
What's your goals, Rye? I mean, my other goal is to lose 50 pounds. That ain't gonna happen. So, what's your goal, Rye, for this year?
Stay away from the donuts.
But speaking of that, my goal is to lose. I think now I need to lose like maybe 5 to 8 more pounds, and I'll be happy.
I need to lose 25 pounds, 25 more pounds.
Okay, I'm more than both of you put together. So
the thing is that I don't know why, but I gained 6 pounds. It's like, what the heck? I'm eating grass, like literally grass, and I gained 6 pounds.
Yeah, I've already lost 10. I got 8 more to go, so which is a good thing. But my goal, again, this kind of goes back to Denise's question about being eco on the going down the drain, because I think I'm gonna be fighting the county for this one. So it
Uh-huh.
looks like I'm gonna have to move into a commercial building. So my goal is to find a commercial building, hopefully before summer, and then hopefully get this embroidery thing working. um, those are just my little goals before summer. But other than that, that's just my major thing that I'm dealing with right now.
For the right money, we can off the neighbor that snitched on you. I'm just saying.
You know what?
There's a lot of deserts in Texas. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's funny about that because, like, my neighbors, they walk by, handful of them walk by every hour in front of the garage, and like 5 of them just came up and say, "Hey, what are you doing here?" So there you go. I got,
That's racial profiling. That's all I'm gonna say.
but yeah, that's just my little
What are
goal.
you doing here? That's he picked on you.
The other thing, that's why I asked you one is that, yeah, I hate renting or leasing because you're putting money to go. It's not benefiting you in that sense,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So that's why I was looking. Okay, what property is for sale out here in this area? So that's what the other thing I'm looking into is actually buying the property. But we'll see how that goes. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Well, guys, I think that should do it.
This is Rye's longest video he's ever made.
I know it went by so fast. But thank you guys. Thank you, Waldo. Thank you, Juan. Special guest for tuning in. I know Juan is he's probably tired from yesterday's 5-hour vlog that he did. And
I still ain't got no food yet. Someone never dropped no food off here.
That's true. I'm still waiting. That's why I keep looking out the door. It's like,
I'm waiting for my steak and eggs. But buying
So
Stockton or Sac,
before
right? You
we
know what,
go-
youngsters, I'm actually going to Stockton this week to take a look. Not Sacramento. Sacramento's too far. It's about an hour drive.
If you
So-
guys want to meet, I'm gonna be in Austin tomorrow at River City Graphics making a video with them. So if you guys want to stop by,
Are you gonna go live?
I don't know. That's a good question. I was just gonna take my camera over there and make that video.
Which one? The VHS tape camera, the big one?
Yes.
The real one.
Hey guys.
User. Anyways, that's what I'm gonna be. But before we go, right, you should do more of these videos. You don't have to have the both of us. I think this is a really good addition to your channel. I think it's really good. There's a lot of people that like. Again, it don't have to be the two of us. I will get tired of watching Waldo's face, and I'm already tired of watching your face.
Right.
So
I'm tired of seeing Home Depot in the background over there.
Right. Well, I mean, we're I have some other guests lined up for it. The next few weeks. But the reason why I wanted to bring you guys on, because of the first one is everybody wanted to talk about screen printing. So I wanted to bring you guys back on to kind of touch that subject from that question a few weeks ago.
see, Bim Pam says she fell asleep on my video or on my live yesterday.
But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, if I like this kind of format because I'm not just the only one talking. And it gives a different dynamics as far as the questions and the answers. So different perspective.
Don't forget to turn your dryer off, Rye, too. It's still on, I can see. So
Which one? Oh, right there. It's still, I gotta hit that button. There you
just
go.
go over and hit the button.
Boop. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. For those of you who are still here in the chat, I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button on your way out, and that's it. Thank you again, Juan and Waldo, for tuning in. Next week we're gonna have another guest. Can't tell you who it is, but that person will be on next week. So peace out, guys. Thank you.
Is it Cam? The camera.
Suavemente, bésame.
All right, guys. See ya. Thank you
All right,
again.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. God bless you.